Hello there, everyone. This is Schizoid Angst, and today I'm going to bring you another hopefully interesting conversation. Today I am here with, Finn, right? Would be good?
Yes, absolutely yes.
All right, Finn. I am here with Finn. Could you turn up your volume a little bit, Finn? Sorry, I just realized it's a little quiet.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot better. Thank you. I'm here with Finn today. From what I've determined, a fellow schizoid in a lot of respects, and as well as other things we probably share in common because comorbids are fun
Oh yeah.
and super fun. And today we're just gonna ask each other a couple of questions about various different things, see what we can relate to, what we don't, what we coincide with, what we don't, and just kind of try to have a little fun with this. And also, the usual shit, which is, sub, like, blah, 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 all that garbage that is necessary for the channel to grow. And as always, I don't need your validation, just as you do not need mine. So, let me get started. Would you, by allowing you to introduce yourself, Finn? Everyone knows who my stupid ass is at this point, I think. Oh, no, yeah, it should be fine. All right, go ahead.
All right. My name is Fin S. My channel is called Legit Boring. It's pretty much just vlog style channel journal. I talk about various topics, mostly encompassing mental health, sexuality, gender, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's my spiel, I guess.
There you go. Jack of all trades, or Jill of all trades, if you will. But okay. Well, fuck it. Let's just get this started. Do you want to ask the first question, or should I just get it going?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right, cool. I know it takes us schizoids a minute to fucking get into the flow of things. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's once a topic gets brought up of interest, all of a sudden we're chatterboxes.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so my first question for you is, why did you even bother starting a YouTube? And how does it align in any way with your mental health issues or PDs? Like, why, considering the introversion and things of that nature, would you even put your face out there for everyone to see and talk to and communicate with?
Mhm. So I made my channel when I was like right before I was graduating from college, and I fucking hated my college, and I felt myself kind
Same.
of I felt myself backing off from just interacting with people and becoming a fucking hermit, and so I guess in an endeavor to keep myself um, kind of working social muscles, I decided to make a channel. Uh, it's kind of like how you have like a paraplegic person and they have like physical therapy to keep their muscles toned. I didn't want to lose my social tone, and this is kind of a
Mm,
lazy.
got it, got it. So you did this for your own personal sort of reasons initially.
Hmm.
So no claim or need for fame.
Oh
You're
yeah,
not
no,
looking to make
not
it big on YouTube or any of that, right?
yeah, not. I mean, it's funny because when you were saying like all the prerequisite like subscribe all that shit, I've actually never said that once on my channel. Uh, it never even occurred to me as a thing to
Oh man,
say.
I don't like saying it, but it's kind of necessary. It really is. It fucks with the algorithm somehow. I don't know how they pick it up. It does all kinds of stuff that is very
Oh.
beneficial to channel growth.
Mm.
Like I hate it. I hate it because I don't need, like, the only thing I really like is comments because I like seeing
Yeah,
what people
that's all
say
I
about stuff. Yeah, but likes and shit like that are so worthless. Like, what the fuck does it even mean? If anything, I laugh more if I get a couple of dislikes. I think it's funnier.
yeah.
But yeah. Apparently, you need to say that stuff. It helps, especially if you end up streaming at any point. It's super good.
Mm.
It's just like there's certain phrases and things you can't say on YouTube that'll
Yeah.
flag stuff. It's kind of the other way around, I feel. And then the way
Uh,
you tag your videos and all that kind of shit. It's a mess. But, I
it,
want more people to listen because I want to meet more people that are fucked up like me. So
hmm
I find that interesting. So, anything else you want to say about that? your YouTube
Um,
decision?
well, I guess like because I was about to graduate college and like apply for jobs and shit, it was mostly to be.
All right, go ahead. Sorry about that. I accidentally paused the recording because I'm a retard. Continue and start from the top from what I just asked.
Okay, so in graduating from college, I was seeing, I have to apply for jobs and all that kind of stuff. And
Mm.
so making the channel was also like a way for me to keep my social tone in order to get a job.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. You kind of need to, but unfortunately, I doubt your channel is very very
Mm,
conducive to job creation, and
that's good.
considering your number one video, which I'll mention later.
Oh my
Uh,
God. It's
but
a fucking cesspool.
what happened?
The comments, it's a fucking cesspool. I don't know if
Oh
you
yeah,
looked
it's
at any of the
great.
comments,
Oh
but
oh yeah, yeah, it's really fun. Of course I did. Of course I did. It's just a bunch of show us pics or it didn't happen. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah, that's generally what it is. It's pretty great. Cracks me up at least. Um, so I'd like you to go ahead and ask me your question. I guess
Look at my
do your thing.
list. Okay, so my first question was about comorbidities and how they
Oh
affect you.
yeah, super fun. Oh, you wanted to just get all somber and shit, huh? All right, cool.
No, that's right the fuck into it. Let's go.
All right, cool. So, let's see. You want me to talk about my own comorbidities? I'm guessing. I don't really talk about them too much on the channel, so this is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, general low grade, consistent depression that can take really fat dips on occasion. But because of the schizoid part, I don't really start bawling or crying or anything very much. That only happens in very rare instances that only involve my kids or my wife, because they're the only people that I can actually emotionally connect to, and they tend to be able to pry certain things open that nobody else can, not even
Mm-hmm.
myself. But when I am depressed, I just kind of shut down. I don't do anything. I don't want to do anything, but I still make myself because obviously I got a family. I have to, but it's
Mm-hmm.
very, very draining, and it's very just the ahedonia just hits top keck levels. And then other issues would probably be some certain level of paranoia when it comes to more large scale things. I don't have like a local sense of paranoia. I don't get like paranoid about people I know or people around me, like if I go out or do things. But I get more paranoid about large social trends, economic situations, like really big shit, like real meta shit too. I get more stressed out, like irrationally stressed out and paranoid about things like that, like to where it affects my actual daily life. Um, so, like, my day can be ruined by the right piece of information, and especially if I verify that information and ends up being true, and then I'm just astonished by, humanity's stupidity and disappointment it causes me, and then all of a sudden my day is ruined. So,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, like I get paranoid. I start thinking, oh shit, like what about my kids? What am I gonna do? This is gonna happen to them. That's gonna happen to them, and I gotta protect my family and all this stuff. And it gets a little out of hand in my head. But then
Mm-hmm.
eventually it quells. The paranoia quells, and then I kind of go back to a neutral state. Um, let's see what else. Anxiety. I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. Why a few years ago before I was diagnosed with the schizoid. Um, that was just consistent panic attacks. Usually, really either a combination of existential stuff that freaked me out, and then on top of that, it was um, like I said, it's always big scale, weird existential shit. Like it was never like, oh no, I got a flat tire, or oh no, I lost my
Yeah.
job. It wasn't that was making me like have a panic attack. It was like, what is reality? What the fuck is this? Everything's absurd. Nothing makes sense. and like I'd look around and just like everything would start getting all weird. Like I would stuff would stop making sense, and I'd stop being rational, and I started freaking out. Unfortunately for me, though, that got nipped in the bud over the years via medication and some CBT. That's the one thing the CBT did help with, the cognitive stuff, is the anxiety. The depression, nah, didn't really do much. I take a bunch of Prozac. It works for anxiety. I'm thankful for it because that was the most, I would say that was the most debilitating of my
Yeah.
comorbids because you can't just force yourself out of a panic attack.
No,
This shit sucks.
absolutely. Hmm.
You can manage it, and you can basically you just have to like enjoy the ride till it's over. There's no getting off of it until it's done with, until it decides, okay, it's done. Um, so I would say those are my primary comorbids, along, but the SPD is definitely. Oh, and ADD diagnosed also ADD as a child. So that's probably why I like to talk so much. Who knows? But yeah, that's it. Those are it.
Mm.
Any questions regarding those?
I guess like, do you have like any like butting of heads between your comorbids? Like, do you have anything like
Oh
that
yeah,
makes
fuck
almost
yeah,
like
super
like
fuck yeah. Because see, that's a weird thing about SPD is it turns certain comorbids into like weird variations that aren't normal. Like
Mhm.
I said, like somebody that suffers from some severe depression that isn't SPD, they might actually start bawling or have fits, crying fits, and shiver and go into a corner or something.
Mhm.
But I just shut down. I just turn into like a zombie, um, and I don't really feel. I feel lethargic, and I feel ahedonia, like indifference and
Mhm.
apathy, not so much sadness per se. The way I actually kind of make it go away faster. It doesn't make it instantly go away. It takes time, but is by listening or doing things, or well, listening to music or doing things that are exhibiting sadness. And it allows me by proxy to tap into it a little bit, and so then I can kind of flush it out a lot faster
Mhm.
by kind of releasing it in some respect. But otherwise, I just kind of sit there like a log for an extended period of time. So, but and it's funny that there's a kind of a relationship there. As far as the ADD, it's kind of positive, kind of weird because it does butt heads because my focus is constantly misdirected, and I'm always like bored, but I tend to find things to do that stimulate my attention. But I don't get particularly excited. It's a more of a distraction,
Yeah.
and it works. So that part's kind of cool. I'm actually kind of grateful that I have the ADD because if I didn't, I probably wouldn't be able to do this channel, and
Mhm.
I probably wouldn't enjoy conversation so much. And I enjoy conversation for completely different reasons than your average person, probably. Um, and then that's about it. I can't think of anything else butting heads too hard. I have rage issues, but those aren't like crazy debilitating or anything. It's usually my anger is rather righteous,
Mm.
in my opinion. But yeah, I would say that's
So,
about it.
what is it that you get out of communication that's different from?
Um, I enjoy the act of conversation and the exchanging of information a lot more than the social
Mhm.
like
The
aspect of it. Like I don't really care about making a whole bunch of friends or people saying niceties or just the actual connections people seem to make when they have a conversation. I'm not that interested in that. I
Mhm.
like the topics. I'm interested in the topics. I'm interested in the analysis. I'm interested in the directions things go in a conversation, and new ideas being constructed in my mind as well as the other person's. The whole what do you call it? There's a word for it. When two ideas crash and then a new thing springs out. I
Mhm.
can't. Yeah, it's that whatever that is. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm fond of that.
Yeah, same. Like that's exactly how I feel about conversing with people is like, if you don't have any information to offer me, then like, why the fuck are we talking?
I mean, it's true. Or if at least you, and if you don't have any information at hand, produce some. Do some analysis of what is being discussed.
Hmm.
Even the most rudimentary effort is appreciated.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but people generally don't want to. They're kind of too busy talking about either themselves or other people that they know and other topics of little interest to me.
Yeah. Hmm.
um, so, okay. So your next question here is, and this is one of the ones I was really interested in, is, well, I'll read it as it's written. I have trouble as a schizoid aligning myself with ethnicity, culture, etc. Do you? Is there anything unique about being a black woman that conflicts with that?
So yeah, first and foremost, like for me, gender is fucking confusing. Uh, there's a truck going by. I didn't wanna.
Oh no, she got on. They took her, boys. Shit.
But
Anyway, go ahead.
yeah, the concept of gender to me is entirely arbitrary and pointless. And so I at first like dabbled in just understanding what gender meant to people so that maybe I could find something that was meaningful to me
Mm-hmm.
within being female. And like my consensus was that I didn't really connect to it. And so I have kind of gone neutral. And so I use they them pronouns. And I always, feel like some type of fucked way about, letting people know how I identify because I know that to a lot of people it seems like, special snowflake shit. And for me, it isn't. It's just something that's comfortable. Like I think about my gender probably as often as I think about my toenails or some shit, But it was
So a
an
lot, all the
important,
time.
right?
Okay.
Like all the fucking time. I
Wait,
mean,
that's
look
normal, right? Just constantly thinking
at.
about your toenails. Oh, okay. Maybe that's just me. Go ahead.
But yeah, like I've just the journey itself was important to make, but now that I'm at my destination, I'm chilling. So it's not a thing that really occupies a lot of my time. So as far as connecting to being a black woman, it's like I mean I know I'm perceived as one, but the gender aspect of it like means really not a whole lot to me. Uh, and blackness, on the other hand, because that is something that I have no control over what people perceive and what people think. Like I can't change. I mean, I could change my skin
Oh, but
color,
there's
but like,
there's many that have tried.
yeah. So yeah, I'm not so deluded that I would like to, completely change myself. And so it's something that I do have to engage with. And growing up, I mean, you can hear the way that I speak. I would be told, that I'm a fucking Oreo, that I wanted to be a white person. And I mean, it used to annoy me because, being told that you're something that you're not is just annoying.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
but
Yes, it is.
I have since like come to the conclusion like there's going to be people that understand and people that don't. And the people that don't, I mean, they don't really have much of a say in what I do in my life. And the people that do, I mean, it just kind of affirms that like this is an experience that people have and that can be understood. And so blackness for me is it's hard to engage with like the cultural components where
Mm-hmm.
like we celebrate the 4th of July. And I'm like, why the fuck would we celebrate the 4th of July when we were still considered property when America was freed from the British? Like,
Yeah,
why would
that
we do
makes
that?
sense. Yeah, that
Uh,
makes sense.
and so, like, there's things that, like, don't make sense to me that I just kind of gloss over, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
because there are things that are important to my family. And family is difficult.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think for all of us in this community.
everyone in the community and then those people in general, but it does at times feel like it's just some fucking people that I know, and
Correct.
uh, I do a lot of things out of obligation, and like I find the I guess the meaning in my relationship comes from obligation, which isn't always good because I'll resent my family for making me obligated to do these things for them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, engaging with blackness has been, a thing that I can't avoid. Um,
Would you like to
especially
avoid
because
it?
uh, I think I think at
I'm just saying
like
that because
when I was
I
younger.
avoid engaging, and I don't avoid. I just don't. I don't. I'm indifferent to engaging in my. I am Latino, and I am indifferent to such things completely.
Hmm.
Like I don't
Uh,
understand it.
I when I was younger, I probably would have been okay with not ever engaging with it. Um, but now I do think it is an important distinction to make within my identity because it is a reason that I could be shot on the fucking street. So I do, engage with it because I want to um, continue doing things to keep myself safe and continue doing things to, further my self interest.
I mean, that's reasonable.
Mhm.
I can't disagree with wanting to further your self interests. I
Yeah.
think
So like code switching, between, being in a white atmosphere and being in a black atmosphere, it's very different how I speak to white people compared to how I speak to
it's
other black people.
so it's so. I find that particularly frustrating because I don't do any of it.
Hmm.
Um, except for I would say when I speak in Spanish, then
Mm.
there's some level of it that occurs because of the just the language change.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, if I do, it's kind of funny. Like if I do any kind of switching, it's based on whatever is particularly beneficial at any given moment. But if I'm around people in which I don't have to do it very much, I just kind of I'm told I just sound like a white guy all the time, like over the phone
Hmm.
and things like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, like I'm not even sure what that means when people say it because
Yeah.
I'm not even trying to sound like anyone in particular. so so yeah, I find your take interesting, and I was just wondering about some of the conflicts that may come with trying to deal with that, and I was gonna mention that some of that code switching stuff,
Yeah.
how often it occurs, and like I mean, how do you decide? Like, is it a conscious decision?
Yes, absolutely yes.
Okay, yeah, I kind
Um,
of thought so too because it is for me too.
hmm. Yeah, I'm absolutely like you have to kind of flip a switch to start it up. And sometimes I slip, sometimes I forget. Um,
But
but I
who is
often get
Finn?
the "you sound like a white person" thing too.
Mm.
And like within the black community, that's an especially contentious thing to say
It's
to a black person because of the connection with between whiteness and education. And so you sound like an educated black person, therefore you sound white. And
well, I
it's
mean
kind of
that in itself is pretty bad. That's a pretty shitty
yeah.
statement in itself, and that's why I always found it confusing when people of any community talk shit about somebody that has any kind of educated way of
Hmm.
speaking as not being culturally appropriate to them. I find it baffling. I never understood why you would give uh, all the credit of being able to speak in an educated fashion to one particular group of people. Like, why you would do that? Why would you say that only this group of people is properly capable of using that form of conversation? Like, I find that insane.
Yeah, it
Um,
makes sense.
no, it makes no sense. That's why I find the act of that you mentioned of switching your mannerisms and maybe your speech patterns in when you're in a certain environment weird because isn't it almost and pardon me, but isn't it almost like giving into that notion?
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. It's a part of the assimilation experience of black people, of black culture. because you can't get what you want out of life if you're not conforming to their system.
Yeah, and that's
That's
true,
what
but it's
gives
weird
it the
that
whole negative
within
of
to
collective.
see yeah, to see within the black community another
Hmm.
oppressive system be created. Like it's
Yeah.
really strange to me. Like an oppressed group, a historically oppressed group creating a new form of oppression within their own community.
Yeah. That's absolutely what we're doing.
That's very odd to me, and to me, it's just I can never figure it out. I can never, and then unfortunately, when you have people in education trying to argue that it's nothing of the such, that in fact this is a
Yeah.
liberation, it then becomes even more just an issue for everyone
Hmm.
involved. I always felt bad for like because luckily for me, I don't like I said, I'm a fucking hermit, and I don't really have people don't really have any expectations of me to act more Latino or be
Hmm.
more like if I'm in a certain environment, they might, and if they say I'm weird, I'm like, okay, you're boring, so that's it.
Hmm.
Um, but in any case, what is your next question?
My next question would be, let's see. Oh, do
What?
you know your Myers Briggs? Like how you
Oh
do.
no, I don't care about that. I think I never got into it.
Uh huh.
I always found it a little silly. It felt like a
Like horoscope.
sociological form of astrology.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
I don't see how I feel like it's probably just as relevant as saying that I'm a Leo.
Hmm.
I get that
I
it's
feel
based on
that.
a certain foundation, but
Hmm.
I just don't get it. I think I got I don't know. I think it was annoying is I think one of the worst aspects of it, if I remember correctly, I got some when I took it a long time ago, I think I got the set of letters that one of the set of letters that tends to be memed often, and I don't and I got annoyed by that even further. I was like, "Oh, cool. So now if I tell anyone this, they're just going to think I'm part of the meme. So I'm just going to go ahead and not partake in this garbage." Because I don't see it beneficial. I don't see the point. I don't think it
Yeah. No, I
describes
absolutely
me,
get that.
especially when you have like PDs and shit. Like, how the fuck?
Hmm.
Like that? I mean, maybe it connects a little better to neurotypicals people. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
But anyway, was that your question? Whether I've taken it?
Yeah. 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 I was just wondering because, like, I've just noticed that there's like a correlation with certain ones and people that are asocial introverts.
I've heard that. I've
Um.
heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just was wondering if you knew if it was like in line with the shit that I've seen.
Oh. Well, I can tell you. What are the ones that get memed, and I'll remember. Do you remember
I don't
which ones
fucking
get
know.
memed often? Is it like NSFW or some shit like that? There's one that
Uh,
people are like, "Oh, I'm the solitary introvert fucking genius person." Like it's this one that's like supposed to be some fucking introverted weirdo brainiac or something.
uh-huh.
Um
I
some
mean, that
shit.
might be INTJ because that is
Which one is it?
one INTJ.
I think that's it. That sounds familiar. Is that the one people try to always say they are? Like all the time on the internet because they want to be cool, like edgy boys.
Yeah, I actually don't know because like I don't really consume like shit like about it. I just
Oh, okay.
know what it is.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I don't do like the periphery kind of stuff.
yeah. I gotcha. I gotcha. I don't know. It's interesting. It's like whatever to me. I feel like there's just a lot better ways to uh, come about a personality sort of
Yeah,
analysis that requires some level of introspection outside of a test. Because that's the thing that
yeah,
drives me
exactly.
crazy too is that people will that do little to no introspection about themselves and their motives and their sense of free will. If you want to argue that, they don't do any actual research on themselves, and then they take a test and they base their entire personality identity on some
Like on
fucking
this fucking yeah,
on
exactly.
this
Just
one
kind of
fucking test.
like,
Or it's the same thing with people that take online IQ tests and then think they're smart. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, cool, man. I got this on the internet. It's like, nah, that doesn't work that way. It takes a lot more effort than taking one test to find out what the fuck you're about.
Hmm.
A lot more, and it's grueling. It's a grueling and sometimes terrible process.
Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely.
all right, so let me move on to my next one. This one is the one I can't help. Um,
Hard.
your most watched video is hilariously
Oh,
you talking about liking anal the best. How has your sexual preferences, both of people and of fetish, been shaped by your SPD slash comorbids? So, yeah, just so everybody knows, if you go to this person's channel, they have a top video on there in which that
what
is the
number is that? I
subject.
think it's 149.
Yeah, K or something, right?
Yeah, let me
It's like
pull.
149K views. And which I was gonna make a joke earlier. I was like, hey, if we want to make this conversation blow up, all you got to do is like maybe put some clickbait thumbnail on there
Right? Yeah,
of
exactly.
like just put like um a picture of that in your plague doctor costume with like a
Hmm.
booty shot, and then just put schizoid anal. Just
Well,
and then maybe we'll get a ton of views.
no, we absolutely would. The shit would blow the fuck up.
I'm almost tempted to do it. I think I might actually do it. I might actually put schizoid
I'm
anal.
fucking great. Yeah.
I'm going to put conversation number 4. Is this 4 or 5? I think it's 5.
5.
Schizoid
Hmm.
anal. I think I'm going to do that just to see
Do
what
it.
happens to my numbers.
Fucking do it. I mean, they're well, especially if you have like me in my fucking costume. Like that was.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you can find me a good booty shot picture, I'll use it in my thumbnail. Absolutely. And I'll just throw it on there, and it'll be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like
Like,
if I'm sure you have some lying around, considering uh,
yeah.
your interests sometimes. But if you do, just Discord it, and I'll make it the thumbnail, and I'll even put text in front of it, like with like big letters. That make it
Hmm.
look like a porn cover or
Right.
something. That'd be great.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway, how does it
So,
back to the serious matters?
hmm.
How has it shaped the SPD affected that you think and
Okay.
other comorbids?
I don't know if you watched the video.
I
I
watched
get
part of it.
okay. So you kind of get an idea of the tone.
Yeah.
I get
That's what makes it funnier.
yeah, exactly. I get an incredible amount of people that come to like my fucking DMs and they're like, "Yo, I totally masturbated to your video about anal," and I'm like, "Are
Yeah,
you
it's really
aware that
funny.
that was a video just talking about like me being sexually assaulted?" Like,
That's why
you're
they
that,
masturbated to it.
all right, you do you, you know. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
like
Sexual assault
vibe,
is a
but
fetish.
yeah, exactly. So I'm not gonna yuck your yum, but mm,
Don't
uh,
kink shame them, Finn. The fuck are you
so yeah,
doing on my channel? Anyway, go ahead.
kink shaming is my kink,
Oh, there you
but
go.
the the way that SPD has like affected my sexuality, I'm not even entirely certain where like the personality disorder ends and like my just regular fucking identity begins. It's hard to like kind of delineate and make distinctions between those things. But I am asexual, and so I'm not really interested in people as sexual objects, uh, like at all. I mean, I'm interested in sex, which is fucking confusing.
Yeah,
So,
that is confusing. Especially, well, I myself
yeah,
am
right,
when it comes to sex, only interested in people outside of my wife, and that's it. In people as sexual
yeah,
objects. Like I don't correlate intimacy with sex unless it's like I said with the one person that I can do that
mhm.
with. But anyway, go ahead.
Uh,
Sorry.
let me see what I was trying to
You were
say
saying
here.
something about asexual and
Okay,
yeah.
there might be some people that can relate to this, so I'm going to try to explain it in a way that's relatively coherent. There is, different types of orientations: homosexual, heterosexual, bisexual, asexual, all that shit. And so those are orientations. Within each sexuality, you have like what I like to call modes of sexuality, where it's not the like so asexual means that I am not sexually attracted to people. So it's about the attraction to people. Underneath that, having like the different designations within asexuality, because it's kind of a spectrum. Uh, there are modes of sexuality, and this is like more, I guess, your feelings about sex, and
Mm-hmm.
the way that you go with it, rather than just the people. So within asexuality, there is agosexual, and I know it sounds fucking dumb because like I hate
Yeah,
to
well,
make myself into
ego,
this list of fucking
a
things.
fucking
Exactly.
waffle. You said ego,
But
right? Or ego or
yeah,
ego?
Ego,
Let,
Aego. Oh, you said
uh,
waffles. Oh wow. Yeah, I
yeah,
get you
let
now.
go of my ego.
Yeah, no, that's what it. I mean, that's what it fucking is. Ego.
Yeah, your
Uh,
ego, you're ego sexual. You like to have sex with waffles. But anyway,
pretty much.
that's
It,
fine. We can continue. Tell us about your
so
copulation.
right. So it's a disconnect between the person experiencing the sexual experience and the object. And so these people are more often interested in erotica, smut, porn. Not so much like when it comes to actually having sex, they're not interested. But the act of sex is interesting, if that makes sense.
It actually makes quite a bit of sense.
Yeah.
Especially to myself, I'll have to say because the actual act, I'm I enjoy it, like I said, with my wife. But if I were to not have that person around, I would
Hmm.
probably be content with just consuming product that is
Yeah.
associated to it. Or if I have the capability and money, voyeurism, 100%.
Yeah. And like
100% voyeuristic myself, yeah.
I had a person on one of my videos say like, can you be agosexual and voyeuristic? And I was like, I feel like that's exactly what
That's
agosexual
all.
is.
That's all that would
You're a
be.
voyeur.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
yeah, voyeurism is very, very integral part of my sexuality.
Hmm.
So I get that.
Very much same. So yeah, I don't like to be a part of the experience, but I enjoy um, things with sexual energy.
So
Uh,
if some friends invite you over and say, "Hey, we're gonna fuck," and you can watch, you don't have to interact. You'd be like, "Okay."
Probably not.
Oh, okay, never mind. About like I would say, what if they were like, okay, how about this? This is a better one. We're gonna set up a camera in our room,
That's
and
actually
let's just
better.
yeah, and let's just say they're both
Yeah.
moderately attractive. You find them both
Hmm.
moderately attractive, and we're gonna have sex, and you get to watch it whenever we're doing it
Yeah.
on your PC.
Yeah. That was yeah.
Would you take up
Like
that
I like to
offer?
be like as far away from the experience as possible. Yes.
Yeah, it's
I
awesome.
accept the
I
offer.
actually would prefer that as well. And I would probably me and my the other guy I usually have conversations with. We always talk about becoming millionaires, and I would create some voyeurism dungeon for my
Wow.
for myself, like in which I would have it'd be like an eyes wide shut type situation. Only
Okay.
only the rich elites or whatever they are would be doing their thing in the BDSM dungeon, and I would be in some camera room,
Hmm.
completely separated from it, and but them fully aware that I am in charge of the entire
Hmm.
situation. That is a strange fantasy I possess.
I fucking feel that. Yeah. So
It's a
I'm glad that you understand what I'm trying to say, because when I try to explain it to a lot of people, they just fucking goes over their head.
I think, am I understanding it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. That's because
No,
we're
got it.
both retarded. So that's good. Sometimes I feel like when I have a conversation with another person, anywhere like myself. I feel like if other people were to hear it, it'd be no different than like two kids with Down syndrome hitting each other with pickles. Like I feel like that would be the same situation. Um, like the other people would see us going, and like they wouldn't really
Yeah.
get what the fuck we're talking about, what we're doing. And here we think we're being all brainy and high minded,
Yeah, we're like wax
and we're
philosophic
just we're
about some
just
shit.
picking our buttholes and smelling it, like So who
Yeah,
knows? Who knows how reality is perceived by others? Because God knows I have trouble perceiving my own reality.
oh,
So
fucking Christ, yeah.
yeah, super cool, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so that's awesome. I like your answer. I appreciate all the details. I'm sure my viewers, especially the more perverted ones, probably would have wished for more details.
Right?
But that could be reserved for a different conversation. So I have my own history that's interesting because I still have yet to make the actual video, but
Mm.
I worked for many years. Well, not many years. Well, actually a few years at a sex novelty type job.
Really?
Yeah, so I am actually very, very well versed in human sexuality,
Hmm.
novelty stuff, fetishes, and all sorts of things of that nature. I am very well versed, and it's pretty
Mm.
hilarious considering who I am.
Yeah.
So, and it actually made for very, very good sales pitches. So that's why it did particularly good. I don't know. Did you watch that video I posted about that shitty job offer?
Yeah, yeah, I did.
Did you find it humorous?
I like at first I was like, what the fuck is this? Like what's going on? And then
Yeah.
I saw the end and I was like, okay, all right.
You saw what we did there?
Yeah, I saw.
Um, oh yeah, I was very upset about all that. And what's funny is that the person who offered me that pyramid scheme was a former supposed customer. That's why I had mentioned that stuff about the wife getting railed. Um, let's see. Next question on your part. Go shoot.
Let's fucking go. I think it was about marriage.
Oh yeah, you're gonna ask about
Yeah,
marriage. What
yeah.
was the question though?
Um, so as a married person with STD, how do you experience romantic love and how do you know that you are in love?
Ah, you're like, what is love?
Yeah,
Tell
right.
me, tell me, great sage, tell me of love. Um,
Because
so
it's like legit confusing for me.
yeah, well, it was for me, and sometimes still is. So, okay, so I did do a video in which I kind of talked about how my relationship developed. So I'm not gonna go into crazy history, but I'm gonna kind of talk more about like the question of like what is love to me, or how it feels, or how to kind of tell. Um, well, the way like it's different. Like feeling love and feeling someone else's love are two different sets of thinking and emotions. So as far as expressing it or knowing that I have it for the other person, I knew that with her because I was able to tap into very uncomfortable portions of my brain that were feelings based without her making any efforts to
Mm.
get to it. So she wasn't prying open. She
Yeah.
wasn't trying to ask me how I felt, how I felt about the relationship, how I felt about this, how I felt about that. How she wasn't trying to break me apart, dismantle my emotional components in order to gratify her own validation or needs. Get me?
Yeah.
So because of that reason, because she was aloof in her own manner. Um, I I was given the room as we consistently hung out because we had a lot of similar interests, and we liked watching movies and all kinds of nerdy stuff. Um, she gave me the room I needed to develop those feelings
Mm.
because there was no intrusion.
Mhm.
And I think I've noticed this, or I've seen some of this with schizoids especially, is that if you date somebody, or you have a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever you want to call them. Um, oh, and by the way, if at any point I didn't say they them, um,
You're fine.
get over it. No, I was gonna tell you just get over it, but I don't care.
All right.
But I will attempt it consciously when I can. But I
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't feel bad about it at all. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
I'm fucking around. But anyway, so what was I saying before I rudely interrupted myself?
Gave you space.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, if you date someone that won't pry, say somebody, not necessarily another schizoid, but maybe an avoidant or something, but somebody that just won't fuck with you emotionally. They won't try to they won't try to force their feelings onto you. They won't do all this stuff, especially early on in the relationship. Early on is when it's important. If they want to do those kind of interactions later, once it's established, once the schizoid person has already done the same back to them, or they're capable of doing it, then I would say that's a different game. But initially, that first maybe year or so, if the person is given enough room, I think it gives us time to really inspect the relationship and really start kind of looking into aspects of ourselves that we don't normally tap into and are usually incapable of doing so without the help of another. Like, there are kind of parts of your brain or mind that are difficult for you to access in solitude. You need some form of romantic interaction. That it could initially start as merely sexual, but as some of the romantic interactions increase, you learn to tolerate them more, and then you over time end up enjoying them. But it takes time, and it takes a lot of patience from the other partner's part. So I think it would require the other person to be aware of your behavior or your PD type stuff. Or in my case, I just got lucky that I found somebody that isn't into kind of doing that, like digging into the other person. I am diagnosed schizoid, yes.
No, I mean, when you met her,
No, I hadn't been diagnosed. I just explained to her that I was aloof. I'm a bit strange. I'm a bit off. I got stuff wrong with me, and they were just like, "That's fine." And then they just went out and we hung out and we, partake in all kinds of fun activities, and then over time it just like developed more and more, and it was kind of a rush initially because like it happened pretty quick over initially for me the couple of months because I'd never interacted with somebody like this. So there was like a stage of infatuation that occurs with any relationship, right? So where I was like almost like, what is this? What am I feeling? What the fuck is going on? Why do I give a shit about the things she's saying and doing? What is happening? And so it almost freaked me out, and then I thought, I can't lose this person. They need to stick around. Because, like, what the fuck? Like, what if I don't... This feeling doesn't... Like, I can't let it go away too quick. Like, this is different, you know? So, and then over time, as that kind of wore off, it then became more intimate and so on and so forth. But, yeah, I mean, that's how I would describe it. Feeling love in return, that you can't consciously do. That's up to the other individual. And if they're expressing it or find a way to express it to you that is suitable for you. And I think the way I was being expressed love and I felt loved is because I was being respected and patient. They were being patient.
Yeah.
So by them allowing me that distance and that patience and that kindness, that felt like love to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it absolutely does.
I know it's difficult, but if somebody does that, they're actually making the effort to love you because they're not trying to impose their love onto you or their version of love onto you. Because at that point, they're not doing it for you. They're doing it for themselves.
Yeah.
You know? So that's how I would describe it. I know, heavy shit, right? You have to fucking ask the fucking heavy question, make it all fucking lame. Good job.
Yeah, I got to, because like I'm also married, and it's a very different situation from what you described.
Because you're always falling on doorknobs and things.
Yeah.
You're always falling down the stairs and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and walk into a door,
Yeah.
no, it's just, you know, I'm married kind of by accident because, I mean, the
I hope they.
passiveness,
I hope they don't hear that.
um, the passiveness of being, the way that we are.
Yeah.
Um, my husband proposed to me, and I said yes because I had no reason to say no. Um, and so,
Well, you have plenty, but I'm sure you just didn't voice them.
yeah, well, yeah, and that's like it's the I don't know, not having access to my inner dialogue. I have issues with that when I'm around other people. It's almost like, radio playing,
Ooh,
and the frequency gets
interesting.
fucked up when I'm around other people
Oh,
because
see, I don't have that issue. That's fascinating.
yeah, their needs become more important than my own. Uh, and I think that's a way that I was just kind of calibrated to exist, um, like just by my parents, um, putting other people before myself,
Oh, it's
kind of
good to know
ignored
that
what
you're
I
easily manipulated. I'm gonna
right?
take. I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, write it
Yeah,
down.
it's just I'm writing it down. Easily manipulated. Okay, cool. Got it.
But yeah, I mean, I hate to fucking say it, but I I don't understand how romantic love works at all, and I'm fairly certain I can't experience it. But like people say, it's not the right person, and I don't know, like I just don't fucking know.
Well, so you continue being married this way?
Yeah, yeah, it's been 13 years we've been together, and 3 years we've been married.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But since you don't feel much of anything, that's a bit strange, right?
Um. Yeah. No, it's super fucking odd. I
How
mean,
did?
it's like goes back to that obligation thing. So like all my
Oh,
relationships are based on obligation
oh,
rather
that's
than
rough. So I
really.
mean, are you at least sexually compatible?
Absolutely not. No. The way that sex works for us is he wants it, I have it.
Oh,
So
Jesus Christ. Okay, cool. So,
yeah.
welcome, Finn. Abusive relationship connoisseur. I tend to laugh at horrible things. So,
Oh no, no, absolutely same.
no, yeah, that's all I can do because it's so awkward. I don't.
Yeah.
It's that's
I
really
mean, it's not
fucking
like
unfortunate to hear.
yeah,
And I'm
or
guessing that this channel is highly secretive in that sense.
yeah. No, he doesn't like to engage with the things that he finds unsavory about me. He just ignores. And
Ignores
I've
them.
actually yeah, I've tried to like explain things to him like about how I experience romanticism, how I experience sexual attraction, because I feel like being honest about it is the only way that we're going to get over it. Like we're going to
Well,
reconcile
certainly
them.
hope so. 13 years.
Yeah, no, it's been a while. It's been a fucking while. And like I'm pretty much just like, a trophy spouse. I feel like a fucking trophy spouse. But I'm not. Like
So
I'm
I'm guessing part of the reason you stick around is because it's comfortable,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
because I'm guessing they have what's the word, income that allows you to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense
Yeah.
because
No,
like I
things
could
like
understand that. I can understand like wanting to just stay there because then you get to
mhm.
be by yourself and do your own thing all the time without having to
Mhm.
worry about anything too much. But that can only take you so far, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sucks. That
I like
sucks.
to think like my husband is passive aggressive and I am aggressively passive.
Mm, aggressively passive. that's that's not as beneficial as passive aggressive.
It really
Passive
is.
aggressive is pretty manipulative. Aggressive passive just means the other person can really do a good number on you.
Yeah.
Um, oh well, that's crazy. I'm just trying to think of like some of the more nuanced aspects of that I find interesting.
Mhm.
Like so, combined with the asexuality, then it's just
Yeah.
almost like sustainment. It's almost like you're
Yeah, if
just
it sounds
existing to be
comfortable,
sustained.
it is. Yeah.
So is there any possibility that they would see this channel or hear any of this, or do they just ignore it, like actively ignore anything you post or do?
Yeah, no, he doesn't look at any of my videos. I
So
have
do
like
they? Are
over
they aware that you have zero interest in them?
Um, I think so.
That's so
Like,
fascinating. That's so
I like
fascinating.
saying like because I mean I've said it without saying it, and then I have said it. Uh, and like I mean it's not that I don't care about him. I do care about him. Otherwise, like you know, I would step all over him. Um,
No, but he steps all over you.
yeah. Uh, we hang out a lot. He's very funny. That's like a
Oh, okay.
huge fucking thing for me. If you can, you know, stimulate my sense of humor.
As well as other
He's
things.
an attorney, so he's really smart.
Oh,
And
okay. So he's
arguing
intellectually.
fucking sucks. I just don't argue with him.
Why?
'Cause
Because he's too good at arguing.
yeah, he's very well. Uses like tactics where
Oh man.
like we're not trying to you know have a dialogue. We're trying to corner someone in the corner and
How
then
old are you?
use that as ammunition against them. And that's like how he enters like you know all
Yeah.
arguments.
I'm wondering what is your age, if you don't mind me asking.
31. I just turned 31.
31. Okay, I'm 35 myself.
Hmm.
Um, this is strange to hear because like I what sort of expectations, since you consider yourself this trophy, what sort of expectations do you think are being held? Are you constantly told to be a certain way or in public or dress a certain way?
Um, something about that was like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I got 2 scholarships. I was fucking elated because I could not afford to keep going to college.
Hmm.
And so I got these 2 scholarships, and the way that I went to the ceremony, I was dressed not like particularly masculine, but I wasn't dressed feminine. I wasn't wearing like a dress. I was wearing pants and like a shirt and a sweater vest. And after this ceremony, he told me the way that I dressed was not appropriate, in that I shouldn't dress like that to his lawyer shit because I don't look like a girl. And so,
Oh my
all right,
god.
all right, like the day of my fucking ceremony, the day that I just won like you know almost $3,000, you're gonna say that to me? I was I don't know, it broke my trust, the little trust that I had.
That's what did
Uh,
it.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Interesting.
that's exactly what did it. And so there's things that I would like to do as far as you know transition and all that shit that I put off because um, they're relationship ending things. And
Interesting.
so that's
Okay,
why
so
you know I feel
it will
scared of
have
them.
to end at some point, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah,
I
all things.
kind of. It doesn't sound like it's not. This doesn't sound like a perpetually sustainable situation. I'm more interested in like, cause like here as a schizoid, I'm
Mm,
more interested in the dynamics of it than
yeah,
like your actual well being. No offense.
yeah, no.
Um, but like, so in other words, I'm not like sitting here going, "Oh, poor Finn." Oh, it's
I mean,
just
I'd rather
like
people didn't because
yeah,
I'm
that's
doing it
fucking
for free.
annoying. Yeah, I would hate that shit too. I hate stuff like that. Like, there's aspects of my life that aren't perfect, but I don't want fucking people pitying me. Fuck
Yeah,
that. But I'm interested in like the situation itself as a as like almost like a case study.
yeah.
Like, what is this? That like a person in a schizoid that passively got married to somebody that doesn't acknowledge them who they really are, and has them as a attractive trophy wife that is also good at charming people because they're intelligent and well spoken. Uh, and it's just that's just fast. That sounds like you definitely married possibly some kind of narcissist.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Like, no, I mean, it sounds like, because
Yeah,
they would that would either act that would take a certain level of, on their part, I'm talking on their part, that would take a
yeah.
certain level of delusion or complete narcissism
Mhm,
to be to find such a arrangement acceptable in this day and
mm,
age. I mean, if you
yeah,
guys were like in a different nation, like if you were in the Middle East and it was a arranged marriage or something, that's a completely different culture and situation. But as a,
yeah,
I'm guessing that's not the case, right? I'm talking Americans
yeah,
here. Yeah, as
yeah, yeah.
Americans, that's really interesting.
Hmm.
That they would be interested. I wouldn't be surprised, and since you don't care, that's good. I would not be surprised if this person is just as indifferent about the romantic aspect as you are of them and they are of you.
Hmm.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, if they're just as, like, aromantically involved with you. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, yeah.
Because of, like, narcissism or something. Like, where
Hmm.
you just became an extension of themselves.
Yeah.
Um, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's something to think about, and I certainly hope
Uh,
you make better future decisions.
yeah. 18
it,
was a little different.
what happened?
I was saying 18-year-old me was a bit different in
Oh,
the
we were
choices
all
that.
dumb as fuck at 18.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? Dumb in a sack of goddamn potatoes. Um, okay, so that was cool. That was interesting. I didn't even know the conversation was going to go in that direction. I hope that's not an issue, but I find it fascinating. Okay, so the fourth question I had is why do you seemingly change your style and appearance often? Does it correlate with any other your PDs, or is it merely just an interest in fashion and style? So do you do any of this stuff in like a manic sort of way, like in a weird kind of like I gotta change my hair, I gotta change my this, I gotta be this, I gotta be that.
No, I'm pretty methodical in the way that I uh, make changes to myself.
Present yourself.
Yeah, because I'm bored. I bore the shit out of myself. I mean, that's why my channel is called Legit Boring because I
Because
feel
you're
like
legit boring.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
so that's the way that I kind of I don't know amuse myself. Feel like kind of attached to my like corporal being. Uh,
Mm.
it's it's fucking weird. But yeah, I do actually just have an interest in fashion. Like it's almost like a form of art only on the canvas. Uh, but it does for me kind of help to cement my consciousness within this realm of being.
Got it. Got it. I'm starting to think, based on that, what you just said, and what you had previously said, I'm starting to question the fact that you are a romantic only because I don't think you've ever had the opportunity to develop it.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I absolutely wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
I think that is more the case than not, based on my analysis of the current situation. I feel like as you said, 13 years, so that means that you haven't even had the opportunity. So,
Yeah,
and the only way you can individually express yourself is via your appearance, because that's really all that seems to be mostly yours to control.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
that makes absolute sense. I'm over here, but fuck, I can't. I hate when I do shit like this, because then this
Why?
is why. Because on my Discord, people keep making jokes, or like they've made jokes about me being a covert psychologist. That's
Uh,
just trying to get all the schizoids together to like write some fucking thesis or some kind of big paper so I can like become published. This published like
yeah.
I'm gonna one day release a book called SPD communication or something. And like they swear that like that's it's usually because of stupid shit like that when I start delving into the mind.
Personality.
And I hate it
Wow.
because I don't want to be like trying to fucking what's the word to assigning your motivators or any of that shit. Like I hate that stuff. I'm just giving you my own perception of what I'm seeing and how I am thinking stuff is happening. But it's absolutely not a reflection of reality in any way, shape, or form. I do not condone trying to force your reality upon anyone. So,
Hmm.
but anyway, just wanted to throw a disclaimer out there
Yeah, yeah.
regarding that. You had asked, I think, well, maybe it'll be your next question, but you go ahead. You had a question that I thought was funny.
My next thing was school and burnout.
School and burnout. That's right. School and burnout. Where are we? Oh, we haven't even gotten to nihilism. Holy shit. Oh, that's the best
And
subject. Okay, I can't wait to get to that.
right?
Okay. Okay. So school and burnout. So yeah, I fucking. Oh damn! I didn't realize you had like a million fucking questions. Um,
I do have a lot of
So
questions.
that's fine. I can talk for a while. Trust me. School and burnout. I did a video on that. It's under academic angst, where I kind of talked about it a little bit. Basically, I went to school because I did 7 years. I got an MA in history. The reason I went to school was because I was obviously just interested in academia and learning and all that kind of shit. And when I went to it, I thought, oh, this must, like, professors and things like that must be people like me that are interested in, like, truth and data
Mm,
collection and information and things of that nature, because maybe they're a bunch of autists like me. So then I started going to school, and and when I got to graduate school, I became more and more disillusioned by their behavior, by their motivators. It just became like politics, local politics within the university, and then
ugh.
an extension of those politics into the outside world. And then I started noticing more and more how their field itself and their actual published papers were being influenced by personal politics and personal ambition and things like that, or lack thereof. And it just bugged the shit out of me. Like, either they were cowardly and conformed, or they were aggressive in their assertions, even if they were incorrect and weren't they weren't doing any introspection when it came to their own analysis and their biases, and it was a problem. And I'm like, oh, cool. So professors are just really fucking annoying normies with bigger brains. That's great. Like, they're doing the same fucking bullshit that everyone else does, only they have a repertoire or a cacophony of terminology that's just as useless as a layman's term for what exactly they're saying. Like, it's just it drove me nuts. And the stuff that they would focus on, the it's too much. There's too much money. They always say there's too much money in politics. There's too much money in academia. So
Mm,
it's the same type of corruption. It's the same type
yeah.
of bullshit. And I hated it. I hated it. The institution is supposed to exist for the purposes of checking the state, and it's not doing that anymore. In fact, it's completely running parallel with both corporate and state interests, oftentimes. So I'm good. I hate academia. I fucking hate it, and I'm in debt now because for the one lesson I learned, which was fuck academia. So uh,
Delightful.
it's a very expensive lesson.
Yeah, quite.
Very expensive. But anyway, your next question. I want to go down your list now.
I think you said that you were really good at customer service.
Yeah.
Uh, do you find that you're better with like one shot kind of experiences or long term, like relationship building with clients
Oh,
or both?
I can do well. One shot's easier for sure.
Yeah.
Because the moment they leave the room, I forget they exist.
Hmm.
And then if they come continuously, or the way I can develop a more long term one is if the person is interesting as a person. Like, I'm not saying I want to be friends with them, but they have some
Yeah.
interesting quirk or aspect of them, or they're able to or I associate them. I start associating people and remembering them by the topic of choice.
Hmm.
So if a person would come into the store and I knew they had a foot fetish, and then I would talk about like I
Oh,
would talk
gotcha.
about either
Yeah.
films or things related to foot. Yeah, I would start associating them to the foot fetish guy, and so then, or girl, or whatever. But point is, they would come in, and then I would be like, oh, it's foot person, and then all the information I had discussed with them previously
Yeah.
starts kind of coming, like, flooding back up, and then I can kind of start off where I left off. When any of these people would attempt to establish more than a customer um, kind of friendly relationship, then it get weird, and then I would have to make excuses for leaving
Hmm.
or doing other things. But yeah, it was interesting because, like, for example, let me give you a quick funny example. There was a gentleman who was very fond of feet, like I said, and I they were a gay gentleman, and they always came in looking for the latest gay pornography that had like the best feet, right? Or foot shots or foot jobs and things like that nature.
Hmm.
And I would help them because I would be pretty familiar with all of that. I'd be like, oh yeah, we just got this one, and this one's got a lot of foot stuff, and oh yeah, this one's got some foot cream pies and shit like that, like whatever you want to call them. And they would be like, oh wow, this is good, and they'd be super happy with my service. And then, like, I think one time we even got like we got some kind of weird foot stroker or something. It was like a stroker, but it was like a
Yeah.
foot. I'm like, you fucked it.
Like
This is the
what?
strangest thing. What? Say that
Ankle?
again. I can't hear you.
Was it like the ankle that you fuck?
I think it was the heel.
Oh.
So that way
Uh,
you can like play with the toes while you're fucking it.
oh, yeah, that makes sense. Wow,
So
interesting.
yeah, so um and so because I was so familiar with their fetish, the subject, they thought I was becoming friends with them, and then they thought I had a foot fetish.
Hmm.
And so then they began to try to like coerce me.
I fucking hate that. It's like it's almost like little tendrils like digging into you. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
oh
disgusting. It's disgusting.
yeah.
So
Like
they would they thought, oh hey, so this and that, and they tried to make passes at me, and I'm like, yeah, nah, man, that's not happening. Like I'm
I'm
just
good.
good at my job. Like stop. So I had to
Hmm.
put a stop to it. I had to tell them, hey, that's not cool. You can't say shit like that to me. I'll keep helping you with whatever you need, man, but you can't say stuff like that to me. And they got kind of weird and confused.
Hmm.
And I tried to put them down initially, like, "Oh, that's not appropriate, sir. We're in my work. You can't be saying stuff like that to me." And when that didn't work,
Yeah.
that's when I had to kind of fucking put the pedal to the metal. Um, so yeah, I like that's how I do it. It's association based.
Hmm.
That's how I do long term customer service.
Yeah, I just can't do it. Like I can do the one-offs. Like I work with I do hurricane relief, well, disaster relief. And so I go to people's houses and do inspections and help to get them loan money to fix whatever thing is wrong with their house. And that is fun as shit for me. It's almost like doing word puzzles where like it's a little bit of a challenge, but not too much that it's uncomfortable. And I like doing these maybe 30-minute to an hour little snippets of
Yeah.
communicating with people.
Okay,
But I
I can
can't
see
can't
that.
focus on that.
No,
Yeah.
as soon as you said hurricane relief, my brain just immediately went to Boondocks and FEMA checks. Like I can't help it. Like it just went straight there. Like as soon
Hmm.
as I heard hurricane relief, I thought it was the funniest. But anyway, so yeah, that I can understand why you would do the one-offs a lot easier. I can understand why any
Yeah.
schizoid would,
Yeah.
but I think the reason I can do the long-term stuff is because of the whole association. If I couldn't do that, if I didn't have such an interest in conversing on topics of interest, I don't think I could do it. I'd probably be the same way.
Hmm.
Go ahead. Next one. Shoot.
That's like my screen went black.
Another popular set of videos. Blocked.com. Very popular. God, so
I
popular, dude.
bet.
You have no
I
fucking idea. I have to talk about that. Like it's, dude, it's so annoying how many dudes are into watching Big Black Cock. Like it's so fucking annoying.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my, like it's frustrating because I'm just like, oh, this again. Like
Here we
every
go. Yeah.
dude, it was like the most boring fetish because I'm like, cuckolds.
Yeah.
Uh,
They
like,
are.
where's my bull? I want to see the bull. Like, fuck, dude. Huh?
You know,
What?
I was just thinking like that's
Yeah, they're all
when you
into
start
this
portraying
bullshit.
people as animals, I start to be like,
No, well, that's what they're doing. They just
yeah,
they.
no, yeah,
I don't get it, man. Like, it's kind of funny. I started thinking like some of these guys literally couldn't jack off to anything else. So I started
yeah,
thinking like, I think you just like black dick. Like, are you
yeah.
just
Fuck
jacking
that
off to
shit.
the big dick? Like, are you even looking at the girl? Like, I don't think they're looking at the girl. I think a lot of these guys are like, I don't know, maybe closeted homosexuals or something. Like, I don't know because they just really like they need it there.
Fucking obsession. No,
Like,
they
they don't
need
even
it
care. Like, they don't even care that
long.
who the girl's getting railed is. Like, they don't
Yeah.
care. Like, they're just like literally like. There's this guy who would come into the store and get like the same. It was called. It was a few guys. It was like Mandingo, and there was like another one. Like, it was just like some famous porn stars with giant crooked dicks, and they would just actively get those every fucking time. And they'd ask me, "Oh, do you have any more of these? Of Tyrone Biggs or whatever?"
Yeah, this specific individual,
And
I
I'm
would
like,
like to
"Are
see.
you jacking off to him, bro?" Like that's all I'm thinking. Like I think you're just jacking off to Mandingo. Like I
Yeah,
don't think you're nutting to a white girl number 742.
right?
Um,
Yeah.
but whatever. Anyway, go ahead. You were saying.
Uh, let's see. What did I have? Oh, what do you think about the like uptick in people talking about being empaths and like the implication
Uh,
of like not? Yeah, we're going in there.
okay, so empaths.
Mhm.
Okay, so one, it's a trend. That a
Oh
lot of
yes.
people, it's just a fucking annoying trend. Just like people that say they're the fucking Myers Briggs thing, and anything else or astrology. It's just a trend for the most part. Empaths sound like the most annoying fucking people I could ever meet. Because they would just be walking around assigning motivators and assigning just everything. Like they would basically, I feel like I'm not saying they're all bad, but I'm saying I feel like if somebody is an empath, they're either partially delusional, um, and partially just removing the agency of the other human being they're interacting
Yeah, exactly. It's like exactly.
with. So I have
Yeah.
an issue with that. Yeah, I feel like they're just removing the other person's agency.
It's like
By
vegan roast.
being
Or
what?
like, like when someone enters a conversation, they're like, "Yeah, by the way, I'm vegan." It's worse than that.
Yes. Like I don't mind. Like it's the same thing. It's like, oh, if you're vegan, that's cool, but don't fucking tell me what to eat, fucker.
Yeah, don't tell me what to fucking eat. I don't need to hear about it all day, every
Like
day.
I'm gonna.
Like if there's
I get hostile. Like I want to fucking kill a baby cow in front of you now. Like just to make you cry. Stop it. Leave me alone. I hate that. So an empath would just make me like want to fuck with them. Like if somebody approached me and they said,
yeah,
"I'm an empath," I'd be like, "Oh, cool. Do your tricks on me, empath." And I'd be like, and they would tell me stuff about myself or whatever. They'd be talking and they're like, "Oh, I
yeah,
really understand you, all this shit." I'd just be like, "Oh, so you know about what my dad did to me?" And like I would just do stuff like that to them. I'd be like, "Yeah, it's
mhm,
weird because I liked it." Like I'd start saying shit like that and just to fuck with them, and just and then get them really uncomfortable. I'm like, "Wow, I feel like you really know me. I feel like you understand me. Can you want me to take off my pants now?" Like I just I make them uncomfortable because they're making me uncomfortable by trying to fucking
yeah,
use their superpowers on me. It feels like Xavier and I always found that fucking mind rape shit so fucked up.
yeah.
Like with telepaths and like the X-Men and stuff, whether it's Jean Jean Grey or fucking Xavier. That idea of somebody just invading your fucking mind with their telepathic cock, like it's just
Yeah.
it's so horrible, man. I'm so glad telepaths aren't real. I am so
Yeah.
glad. Clairvoyance, maybe. What's it called? Psychics, speaking to ghosts, whatever. It doesn't harm me.
Mhm.
But a telepath, fuck that. I'm glad they're
Yeah.
not real. That's a nightmare. But yeah. So that's. I think that was. Did that answer the question? I don't even know what it was about. Yeah, I think that answered the question.
Yeah, you answered it.
Oh no! Here comes the big one. Go for
Yeah,
it.
the big one. Let's do it. Nihilism.
Oh motherfuck!
There's
You know
so
what? What's
much.
funny is that like before we get into that one, I don't want to talk
Uh-huh.
about it, but on the next one of them that the many questions you had is, do you find other schizoids to be long-winded? I am
Yeah.
long-winded as fuck. I can talk
Yeah.
forever, and some people hate it. So far, I haven't talked to anyone that seems to hate it on that Discord. They seem to enjoy
Mhm.
it for whatever reason. The other schizoids probably enjoy it because they don't want to say anything or they don't care to, and the avoidants seem to find it okay because they're too shy or afraid to say anything. So
Mm.
it seems to work okay. But anyway, so this is gonna get long-winded. That's my point.
All
I'll
right.
try not to let it be. So nihilism. I like how you just wrote nihilism, not even a
That's
question.
it. That's fucking it.
Oh
Not a
man.
question.
Okay, so nihilism is very, very important to me. I am deeply enamored with the philosophy in certain respects. I have kind of custom fit it to myself in a lot of ways because I am a nihilist.
Hmm.
Um, but I am, I guess, what started becoming the trendy term before. I was this before it was cool. Fucking optimistic nihilism
Yeah.
is the route I take. Um, I just see it as realistic, pragmatic nihilism. I don't see it as optimistic. But yes, I think it is actually the philosophical way of thinking about existence that could be highly beneficial to a lot of schizoids. That's my thought. That's my theory. Because being schizoid, a lot of the times we have issues trying to connect to systems of like religion and faith, because they require generally a certain level of social adaptability and enjoyment or whatever. So without that, it's hard to go to church and enjoy it because it's all social. You can't go to your mosque. You can't go to your whatever. It's all social. And without the social connection, you can't really connect to this higher power a lot of the time that people are trying to like, because that's how you do it by proxy, by through the social connections you make with the people around you, as well as the parasocial, semi-parasocial connection you make with a priest or rabbi or whatever.
Yeah.
So, because of that, nihilism works extremely well for me because it actually quells a lot of the existential anxiety I used to suffer. Because I discovered that what I find horrifying is not a world or universe that has innate meaning, that doesn't have innate meaning, is the idea of a universe with innate meaning is more
Yeah.
terrifying to me. So, because then it would remove my agency and it would remove my free will and it would remove every aspect of myself that makes me me.
Hmm.
So I essentially would cease to exist philosophically were there innate meaning.
Yeah.
So, and because of there is more evidence in favor of the idea that none of it has innate meaning, and there is no way to verify or confirm innate meaning, because even if and that's what makes it really interesting is the fact that I'm also not an atheist, but I'm not really an agnostic. I'm an indifferent.
Hmm.
I kind of it's confusing to it's funny because when people that are Christian try to talk to me about it, they're like they think I'm an atheist, but I'm
Yeah.
like, well, no, I don't actively disbelieve. Like I don't care. I don't care whether, and I can't say I'm agnostic because an agnostic would generally be up in the air about it. But then if they die or something and they come to the realization that there is some kind of deity, their idea of faith might shift or change. In my instance, it wouldn't. I could Jesus Christ Himself can come down from the clouds, and I wouldn't detest him or like him. I would just be like, wow, you were a very interesting figure in history, and you've shaped a lot of minds and thoughts. I would like to have a conversation with you about that. And that's it. Like, I wouldn't really care about his superpowers or his dad. Like, I'm interested in theology, but not in participating in faith.
Yeah.
So, so because of that, like it wouldn't make a difference. I'd be indifferent to a creator. The If there was a creator, I would say thanks. Moving on. You have no innate meaning, just like I do not, just like anything else doesn't. So, you are just as absurd as every other aspect of all of existence, regardless of you creating me. If anything, if I was created by an absurd being, it would make perfect sense why everything's even more so
Yeah.
absurd. So, and so it changes nothing. It doesn't alter anything. I would still go on my way of learning and knowledge and doing about like if there is that's the same thing. I believe in actual. I have a strange belief in an afterlife, but I do not conceive it as anything innately important.
Hmm.
I see it as something that's going to be another step to my existence. That's going to be just as silly and absurd as the current one. It's just going to be different, and I'm okay with
Hmm.
that. Like that's how I view it. So,
Yeah.
um, I don't think it's going to be some crazy paradise. I don't think it's going to be so cool, or all the answers will be exposed and all the knowledge will be. I don't think any of that. I think it's going to be just as baffling and stupid, and I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I like that.
Hmm.
So that's how I feel about my nihilism. I think nihilism can be applied, or this belief that nothing has intrinsic meaning can be applied to every aspect of your life in a positive way, in a helpful, practical way. It doesn't
Yeah.
work for everyone, but I think it could be very useful to people that suffer from deep levels of ahedonia or SPD or things like that. I don't know. people that just suffer from existential anxiety that can't be
Yeah.
quelled by religion or faith or spirituality, this is the answer, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, it's definitely the way to go.
Oh, okay, so you're a nihilist too?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I was just
cool.
wondering like your
So you
thoughts.
get all this shit I just said.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Man, what the
I'm
fuck?
a bit different, like just because I am atheist.
Oh, okay.
But all the shit that you're saying, like, yeah.
Yeah, see, because
So
that's the thing
I feel
about
like,
atheism. I feel like it would require me to actively care whether there is a God or not.
hmm
Like, I feel like by being an atheist, I would have to, like, give a shit. But I don't. So, and if I don't give a shit, then that means that why would I choose to believe or not believe in it? Like, I don't. Like, I've come to terms with the fact that there are things in this universe that no amount of science and data
yeah.
will come to any kind of definitive conclusion. And also, I think humanity will probably cease to exist before all things are we get all the answers if there are any answers. And I also believe there are no answers to certain questions. I don't
hmm
think there are answers. The human brain is designed to find solutions. But if you defy that aspect of it, it causes a lot of stress and anxiety to some people. For me, it causes relief,
hmm
because accepting the notion that there are things in this universe that I will never comprehend, that no one on Earth or anywhere else, and perhaps all sentient life, because I do believe there's other sentient life in the universe, also does not comprehend. So even if simulation theory is correct and we are just fucking created by some technologically advanced humans or alien beings or something that have managed to create a universe and we are now here, that doesn't change anything for me. It's still the
hmm
same. It's absolutely the same situation as if it were a big bearded man. So
Yeah.
there you go. There's your big old long-winded answer.
I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. Like, do you find that other people with SPD like are long-witted, like in general, or
Well, I
like because
mean,
I feel like I am long-winded, but only in writing.
oh, I'm super long-winded in speaking and in writing. I'm just long-winded, man.
hmm
It's fucking terrible. I am a when I have a conversation with somebody about topics I'm interested, I literally enter this really weird kind of stream of consciousness mode. That's how my brain works. It just everything starts spilling out, and but at the same time, because of the SPD and all the introspection, I do a pretty good job of like being very intentional about my speech. At the
Mm,
same time, like very
yeah.
not careful, but like I try to make sure that what I'm saying can be
It's
somewhat
organized.
understood or organized. Yeah. But even then, the words are hard to come by sometimes. But yeah, I don't mind it though because I love long-winded people because my favorite, and I mentioned this in I think the to somebody I forgot who, but um, what my favorite I guess YouTube channel streaming thing or whatever is these guys called PSA Sitch and Adam Friended. They are my favorite because what they do is they do political stuff, they do philosophical stuff, whatever. They're kind of centrists because I'm
hmm
into politics and things like that. But what they do is they'll get a video that they usually disagree with in some like fundamental aspect, not even on a political aspect, just on a philosophical or rhetoric related aspect. Like it just doesn't make sense, or information wise, like doesn't make sense to them because they don't really take any particular side half the time. Um, and I find that interesting because they talk about it for 8 hours straight usually. Like so, it'll be like a 30-minute video that they will break down over the course of 8 hours, and it's
Damn.
awesome. I fucking love it. It's one of my favorite pastimes. I lay there on my bed and I play RPGs on my Switch and I listen to an hour or two of this 8 hour conversation. And over the course of like 3 or 4 days, 3 days or so, I listen to the entire thing, and I
That is
love it.
astounding.
It's amazing. It's amazing because the way they speak and break things down is the way my brain functions a lot of the time when it comes to analysis. I
hmm
don't know. They're not. They're kind of neurotypies, like in the sense that they get all emotional and like kooky and stuff and
Uh,
all that stuff. And I don't mind it. I just ignore it. But their actual analysis and breakdown of stuff is very much they're disciplining themselves and they're attempting their best to be as objective as they can be, but because they're
Mhm.
fully aware of their biases and they're fully aware of those things. And it's really funny because they catch each other and oftentimes don't
Yeah.
agree. And they oftentimes like they're like, "Oh shit, I just did the thing," or they'll actually mention specific theories and concepts, sociological stuff sometimes, in which they engage in at times, and it's pretty damn funny. Like they're like, "Oh, Schadenfreude, oh, you're doing it, stop," and they're like, "Oh shit, this is Schadenfreude," and like stuff like that. So
Mhm.
it's pretty fucking fun. I would recommend their thing
Yeah,
quite a
like
bit.
actually like put like a link
Yeah, I'll
to
send you one. It's fucking great, man. Like, and it's okay. You might not because they usually go after both extreme left and extreme right.
Mhm.
They go after videos of people, but usually the ones on YouTube are more extreme left than extreme right. The extreme right are usually casted off of YouTube, so
Yeah.
you have to you have to go on BitChute or something to find them, and they usually don't have the same production value. But it's pretty funny. I find it really really funny. I like that person. I also like Aiden Paladin because of that same reason. She's a sociologist type YouTuber that breaks down stuff based on info. She's a little more biased in some respects, but she'll do fucking like a 2 hour video on one concept. And it'll just be she shows her scripts and there'll be like 20 pages. Like, it's
Damn.
insane. There'll be like 30
Mhm.
page scripts. She writes like a fucking thesis for each video.
Wow.
And she cites everything. It's amazing. She cites everything and she does current stuff. It's amazing. I'll send you both. I love them. They're my favorite as far
Mhm.
as sitting there for hours listening. But anyway, long winded. That was it. Next.
Yep. Yeah.
This is getting long winded.
Well, I also
Totally.
like because I getting on the long-winded like that's like one of the later questions.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got two birds with one stone.
Fuck yeah. Kill all the fucking birds. Stupid birds. Anyway, let's keep killing birds. Next.
So a lot of people assume that we're like more intelligent than regular people. Um,
Oh, that's bullshit.
where was I fucking going with this?
That we're
Do
more.
you feel like we're yeah yeah
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that we're more intelligent. I just think that we've taken the time to develop our intelligence. That's
mm-hmm.
all that is. Like, I think a big majority of people can attain a certain level of intelligence. I'm not talking like like some of the biological aspects of stuff. Like, I'm not even talking about stuff like cognitive function or IQ and shit. I'm talking more like on the effort that one puts
Yeah,
in. So
yeah, like if you spend enough time in your head, then you'll develop it.
yeah, and to me, stuff like IQ, it just means how efficient you might initially be at doing it. So it's kind of like if somebody's just like better at doing pull-ups. Doesn't mean you can't do pull-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to work at it, and then your arms get bigger, and then you can do pull-ups, and that's it. But there's gonna be that kid in 6th grade that fucking lift himself over because his arms are like tree trunks because his dad had arm like tree trunks.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of see intelligence a lot of the time, and it's about discipline. And unfortunately, a lot of people are constantly distracted by a lot of social stuff, and because people with SPD are not, and where you're just consistently in our brains all the time, which isn't necessarily healthy either.
No.
We do nothing but think about ourselves, our situation, our environment, our interests, why we don't like things, why do we don't feel, why don't we act the same way, why this, why that, which brings up a bunch of questions. Then you get into philosophy, and then you're curious about humanity, so then you start
Rabbit
studying
hole.
some history, and then you
Mm-hmm.
start studying some sociology, and then you start thinking about what money, and then you start freaking about money because you need to make it, so you need a career, so then you start
Yep.
thinking about economics and financial situations, and you start reading about that, and watching YouTube videos on that, and reading news about that, and so on and so forth. And then by the end of like fucking, let's just say you started doing it when you were like a young teen,
Mm-hmm.
then by the time you're fucking 25, 26, you're like well versed in a ton of shit because that's all you fucking did. All you did was read and learn because that's all you could do because you didn't want to go to the parties, you didn't want to socialize, you didn't want to sit around watching TV with people, you didn't want to do those things. and you weren't interested in those things, and thus this is how you end up. I think a lot of schizoids are definitely book smart.
Hmm.
I'm not saying we are for sure, but I think a lot of us are book smart and inadvertently disciplined when it comes to our thought patterns and our sense of education.
Hmm.
But that's it. And I don't think we're disciplined in a
Yeah.
conventional way. Like, I suck at homework and wanting to do things and all that kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
shit. I'm awful at that shit. Like, I hate writing essays that I'm assigned. But if you tell me,
Hmm.
hey, think of something that you think is cool and write something about it or talk about it for 3 hours, I'd be like, yeah, okay, no fucking
Yeah.
problem. Like, I can do that. But when it comes to like assignments, fuck that noise. That's what I hated too.
Hmm.
But yeah,
That's really the worst part of school.
what happened?
Like, that's kind of for me the worst part of school. I think it's like a Mark Twain quote. Don't let school get in the way of your education. Um, it's just when you're graded on it, it just feels pointless.
It's fucking annoying. I rather just like what I hate being graded. I just want you to tell me
Yeah.
why, criticize it. Tell me why I
Yeah.
might
Go
be
for
correct or incorrect.
it.
One
Hmm.
thing I fucking hated about going to school was I would turn in like this fucking 20-page shit, and I would put a lot of effort into it, my thoughts and ideas and everything, and then I would get back a fucking numbered thing, and it would say like, oh, you got an A, right? Then I'd be like,
Hmm.
but fucking why? Like, like, like why is this an A? And then like I see a few marks inside and a couple of like a paragraph or two, like saying like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, wow, cool point. Blah blah blah. And I'm just like, can we just talk about this? Like, and so oftentimes I would stay after class and just be like, hey, can you give me a little rundown of like what you disagreed with or agreed
Hmm.
with when it came to this paper? And sometimes they wouldn't even fucking know because they probably didn't fucking read it,
Yeah.
or they just look for certain keywords and then moved on. And I'm like, that was a waste of fucking time. Like, why the fuck did I do this? I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's like it feels like you're breaking boulders, like just to break boulders.
Hmm.
Like you're just fucking hitting it with a pickaxe, and there's no gems inside. There's nothing there. But you
Nothing.
have to keep hitting it. You just have to keep fucking hitting those rocks. So yeah, I do not like that. I understand that, but I do
Hmm.
not think we're more intelligent. I just think we're more disciplined, and maybe book smart. Intelligence is a little more complicated than that. I can tell you right now, I'm
Yeah.
terrible at math. I'm terrible at mathematics. Awful. I hate it because I'm not interested in it. It just doesn't call to
Hmm.
me. But you want to talk
I'm
English? You
like the
want to talk
opposite.
history? Cool. You're a math person?
Yeah.
There you go. But that's why it's
Yep.
cool. You do the math,
Yeah.
I'll do the
Hmm.
analysis. We'll work
All
together.
this stuff.
There you go. I'll do the personal stuff. Like I'll do the fucking talking to the subjects. You can do the data analysis.
Oh yeah. I'm
There
I'm
you go.
100% ready for data analysis. Want
There
to
you
get
go.
in the
You
fucking lab.
get your analysis. You do your charts. You do your numbers. Give me the accurate information. Then get that back to me, and I'll write the fucking paper, and I'll talk to the people. I'll talk to the people, and
Gotta protect
trick
the
them into
serum.
taking these serums that we're trying to give them. So or whatever. There you go. There you go. In any case, okay, let me see what I had for you. Uh,
Yeah.
how long is this going? Let me check the time here because I want it to be long enough to where we can split it
Hmm.
properly. Um,
3-ish.
so we're at.
Oh, well,
I have an
so
hour and 40 minutes. Okay,
okay.
so I wanna see if we can drag this out for like another 15 or so. I'm
Yeah.
sure it won't be. I'm sure it won't be a
Yeah.
problem.
That will not
I
be
have a
a
feeling
problem.
that we're the type of people that can fucking do this shit for hours. Um,
Yeah.
uh, but in any case, let me see here. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the fifth and final question I had. Let me see if it was even interesting. Oh, yeah, it is interesting to me because I like to hear this. What do you think about what I'm attempting? What do you think about me trying to create a Discord full of, SPDs and voids and spurgs and shit, and trying to like get them to not get them to, but allow them a space where they can openly communicate with each other, and not just like, oh, here's a space you can talk, but there's an acknowledgement of your predicament and your situations, and now you can talk in a way that feels normal, like the conversation we're having right now.
Hmm.
I'm enjoying this conversation.
Beautiful. So am I.
See, exactly. But the reason the conversation is being enjoyed is because we're talking about things that we're interested in. We're sticking
Hmm.
to specific subjects. We're not trying to be empaths, things of that nature. Like, we're not doing any of that. So the conversation can be comfortable and the subject matters are interesting. And that's kind of what I want to do with future conversations I have with other people, as well as the Discord itself. I want people to be able to have these kind of conversations themselves, and whether it's through chat or through the voice channels. So I think it's cool. That's my. What do you think of me doing that? Is it crazy? Am I fucking nuts? Like, go ahead.
I
I
think
don't
you're
care.
fucking nuts. First and foremost, I do think like it. I mean, it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea, but like when you like, because I watched the video where you were talking about it.
Oh
I think it was like
yeah,
a
I was
month
kind of
ago.
bananas that day.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I was hearing it, but it was very interesting to see you activated about it, and excited about something because that is fucking rare.
Yeah, no
Uh,
fucking joke.
so,
That's I get. I mean, it's
so
crazy.
I think it's a good idea. And initially when I was hearing like a mental framework, I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Oh,
But
cognitive frameworks.
yeah, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
You giving the context of like having a Discord, I think that makes a lot of sense. Uh, and so I think it's a great idea to allow people to feel connected without strings.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I do like that as a concept.
Yeah, via relatability. Like we are right now. See, like me and you, as icky as the concept is, me and you are currently uh, via the interest in the same topics, technically connecting socially in our own strange way. Does that make sense?
Hmm. It does.
And because of the respect and boundaries, which is hilarious considering the lack of boundaries I have when it comes to anything else. Um, it's like it's establishing something through relatability, and I think that that's a good motivator. And I think there are ways, like I said, for schizoids to connect to other people. It just takes a specific environment and it takes a certain level of understanding. And I'm finding that to be the case because I'm being told by other schizoids that are like, oh, this feels good. Like, this is good. I like this. These videos are relatable. What the fuck's going on? Like, it trips them out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, a lot of
And
people get like real fucked up.
what happened?
No, I'm saying a lot of people get really fucked up, like initially when the relatability is like just loud as fuck.
Yeah, because it's like, are they in my brain? What's happening? Like, are they? Is this me? Is this real? Like, what the fuck's happening? Like, what am I feeling? It makes me uncomfortable. Do I have to go poop? Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that, and I suffered through a lot of that when I started connecting, especially like emotionally to the people I care about. Like, I started feeling all kinds of fucking fucked up when I was connecting to having kids, because I have two
Hmm.
kids, and
Yeah, I can't
like
imagine.
I love my children, and like I always worried about having kids when I was younger because I thought I would never connect to them.
Hmm.
I thought that would be horrific. Like, I couldn't think of a worse nightmare than I create a child that I can't connect with, and a
Hmm.
nightmare for them and myself, because then I would have
Yeah.
to fucking fake it the whole time or something, and then they would be caught up in this delusion I had to create for them because the
Hmm.
obligation associated and responsibility. So, but luckily for
Yeah.
me, that's not what happened. Oh, good. So, I actually was able to connect to my kids. I loved them. I care about them. I would kill for them.
Hmm.
And it's strange initially when you feel it because you get really confused. You get almost anxious. You start freaking out because what the reason you start freaking out is because this is another thing I think a lot of people don't really understand about SPD is when you are able to connect to somebody, you have to kind of control yourself because you have a chance to become obsessed with them. So because they're producing things or helping you produce things that nobody else has. You get me? So then you're like, what is this? What is this? And then you start going like,
Yeah.
this person is special. This person is like, no, but you, it's not so much about that. And then you can maybe actually scare someone off,
Mhm.
and kind of it could be counterproductive. So when I was getting emotional feelings for my children, it was like initially I was just like, this is fucked up. This is weird. Like I'm freaky. I start obsessing in the sense that I started thinking like, oh, I can't lose them. I got to protect them. What if something bad happens? It makes me paranoid about my kids' safety and stuff. Because like they become this integral part of my existence. It's kind of crazy, and then you have to kind of stave it off. That's probably a mixture of my own paranoia, that I deal with. So that's why the world events and things, I think about my kids' futures. I think, oh, what the fuck's happening? Oh my god, are they gonna? Am I even gonna like? Are they even gonna see a future in which like is anything like what I see and blah 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 and all this stuff, and it gets all crazy. But yeah, and I don't. Yeah. Anyway, I would say that my paranoia when it comes to global events probably got a little higher the with my kids being born
Mhm.
because of that reason.
Well, I
Because
feel
now
like I
there's an
haven't leveled
emotional
up.
connection, huh?
Yeah. I was saying I feel like I haven't leveled up. Like, cause I mean, I understand what you're saying. I just couldn't imagine having that
Whoa, I
kind of.
couldn't either. That's if you would have
Yeah.
asked me like
Exactly.
if you would have asked me like 8 years ago or like 9 years
Mhm.
ago. I mean, like I would have been like, nah, you're fucking nuts. Like I can't even. I have trouble describing it still.
Mhm.
That's how nuts it seems. Dude, I initially thought I'm never going to get married. Got married. I initially thought I'm never going to have kids. Got a kid. And then I thought, no way I'm going to have another kid. Had another kid. No more. That's it. We're actually done with two. But point is, like, it's weird how life goes, man. Like, you can be taken in
Mhm.
some wild fucking directions. Like, for all you know, a decade from now, and I'm just saying this. I don't know what's going to happen with you. You could be dead for all I know. But
Yeah.
and I won't attend your funeral. But in any case, 10 years from now, you could be like, oh hey, I am now remarried and completely in love with my, they them partner or something, and
Mhm.
it's weird and it's been a struggle, but now I've attained some semblance of what is this or that. And I can, and I now, and so your entire reality becomes rearranged, and then you can't even recognize the person you were 10 years prior. I wouldn't be able to recognize that person, from like 10 years ago.
Wow.
I wouldn't recognize
Do
them.
you,
I wouldn't even know like how to communicate with them. Like I wouldn't be able to explain this to them. They would look at me like I'm fucking nuts, and that doesn't make any sense. Like literally doesn't make any sense. That's how I feel 10 years ago.
Mhm.
So yeah.
I was curious. Do you ever feel or like in the past, did you ever have I don't know the feeling of pressure to be what your like parents want you to be or what society
Oh
wants
yeah,
you to
for
be?
sure,
Like,
100%. Fuck yeah. I mean, that's everybody,
mhm.
but especially as a schizoid. Yeah, fuck yeah. I was always. I didn't even want to be motherfucking human, much less all that other shit. So,
Yeah.
like I think the other person I had a conversation with, they're transgender, and they have I
Mhm.
think their thing, and I agree with this. Like if I were to fucking, give a shit about the pronoun stuff, I probably would go with it's.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's or something because it just I don't really conflate myself with a lot of things, but
Mhm.
yeah. So I had a lot of trouble with that. Yeah, because my parents were normies. They thought, oh, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. In fact, it got to a point where it turned into a form of neglect because they didn't know how to deal with their fucking weird ass son.
Yeah.
So because they didn't know how to deal with him, it was like, oh, go play video games and read books all day. So I mean, I got an early start in the whole like getting book smart like
Mhm.
aspect of things because I didn't have anything else to do but play video games, read comic books, and read books and not do my homework. And then like it was always this was every report card in all of elementary school and junior high. It wasn't until like maybe high school, my first 2 years, that I started getting straight A's. I put in some effort for some reason, and then by the time senior year hit, I was getting like D's and F's. Um, Probably mostly because of all the confusion I was going through. But throughout of elementary school, it was always he's a bright child, but unmotivated.
Yeah.
That was always the report card. Um, it would be better if he tried harder. Oh, maybe if he showed interest. He keeps talking in class. He keeps talking in class. Nothing but talking in class. But also very bright and aware of things. It's like, that was every report card, man. It was funny as fuck. So I don't know, and I think schizoids have a place in the world. I think we can be very useful in certain departments. There you go. You could be stuck in a fucking computer room full of things you can break down data wise and math and shit. There you go. Boom. There you go. That's where they should stick you, and you'd be content. You'd be just fine doing that for a lot of, and I'd be just fine doing something else. I think we're useful. If you want somebody that will work diligently at something, as long as you stick. If you stick us in somewhere that we're interested, we'll work diligently. I think we can do it.
Yeah, we absolutely
Like,
can.
yeah, I can work for hours at a time. Like, dude, I put more effort into. This is so fucking stupid. I put more. Okay, I'm a gamer. Fucking gamers rise up. But anyway, I put more effort into Mega Man. I think it was Mega Man 10 or 9. No, 10. Where I actually beat the game without getting hit, right? So I put more effort, and that took me a long time, but I put more effort, time, and diligence into that than probably my master's comps. Like to get my master's.
I can understand that. Yeah.
I think I put more effort into that. I swear, like more actual time. Because I was playing that fucking game for like probably 4 hours a day every day for like 2 months or something. Like it was crazy. So yeah, and when I would get into a hobby or an interest like that, hold on 1 second. Let me pause this real quick because somebody's coming. If they come in, they come in. I'll just tell them to shut up. But yeah, I would put more effort into things that I was interested in, and it was just funny. It doesn't make any fucking sense because it wasn't productive. So then I started thinking, okay, so if I can be this diligent, what if I find something productive that I actually give a shit about? And that's what I'm doing with this, you know? I'm being consistent. I'm trying to upload at least every 2 days. And I would upload every single day if it weren't for the fact that, there's obligations and things I have to complete and, reality. But I enjoy it. This is the first time I've done something that actually feels like I can work at it and enjoy it. It feels the same way it did when I was playing Mega Man 10. Yeah. If that makes any sense. I actually want to do it. So, yeah. Another long-winded answer for you.
Yeah. No, I absolutely feel you on that. Like, because, like, growing up, I had a lot of things delineated to me, and so I assumed that's what I was. And when I, turned 19, 20, it was almost like, signing up for a website and not realizing there's like a profile that you could fill out, and like my profile is fucking empty, and this is my whole identity, and I can fill this out, and it could be whatever the fuck I want it to be.
Yeah,
so I've become
pretty awesome.
kind of obsessed with myself and understanding myself and augmenting. I like to punch holes in things. Like, you can see my face is like riddled with holes. But yeah, I understand what you mean by like finding that thing that you can fixate on and build upon.
And that's when they suddenly say, and that brings me to my greatest point. Here's my OnlyFans link. You're like, it's what inspires me. It's what I am diligent about. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But that would be fucking hilarious. You're like, I finally feel free. But and it's funny too because you're still playing roles right now. You're playing you're playing the role of a married woman.
I am all day, every day.
That's so fucking hilarious to me, man. But one day, perhaps you will not be playing the role. You will be a married they them. So You know?
That'd be
See,
fucking insane.
you're
Yeah.
right. That'd be insane. But you don't
Be-
fucking know, man. I would have told you impossible, but like I said, this experience that I've gone through over the years has made me change my perception of what a human being is capable of doing in the right
Mhm.
environment and in the right situation. I think if properly cultivated, a human being that has many issues, disabilities, problems can turn into
Mhm.
something really cool and interesting. And they can achieve things that they themselves feel were completely incapable of. As
Mhm.
fucking lame as fuck as that all sounds. As lame as fuck and inspirational and whatever
Yeah.
bullshit as
Yeah.
that all sounds, it's fucking
That's so
true,
fucking
man.
true. Yeah.
You can punch through, man. You just got to find your way to punch through. I don't know. But and I'm not saying everything's gonna be hunky dory. And even if you do fucking get married and find love and all that kind of shit, doesn't mean it's gonna work out. But at least you can fucking, what is it? Better to love and lost and all that kind of shit than never
Yeah.
loved at all. That's a literal situation for a schizoid.
I
Like
mean,
that's what's
fucking
kind
A.
of funny. It's an actual literal situation like that. It's supposed to be like about like hyperbolic, not or just kind of like an idea or concept or something. But
Yeah.
no, for a schizoid, it's literally that situation. You have the possibility of never to have loved at all. That is an
Yeah.
actual possibility. And I can tell you right now, it's better to have loved than to never loved at all. If for some reason my wife eventually left me or something, I would still be happy that I achieved this
Had this.
aspect of
Yeah.
myself. So,
I can understand that.
anyway, fucking getting all squishy and annoying. Did you have any more, or was that it? I think you had some more shit. Oh yeah, do you feel connected to your gender?
Oh yeah, because like I don't, and
Gay.
so
No, I'm just
I.
kidding. uh, but one thing I'm also discovering about schizoids is they don't seem to give a fuck about anything. So I'm having a really good time because like I was talking to somebody that was very leftist. And if you're out there listening, they
Oh
go
lord.
by Queen Cynthia. They're very very leftist commies, and I love it because I was able to have a political conversation with them and we were able to make fun of each other and make fun of our lives and make fun of our views, and zero butt hurt, zero don't give a fuck, like, and that makes me
I
laugh.
mean, like humor is the only thing that really makes life have a meaning to me.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, if I can't make fun of you for your disabilities and I can't laugh at myself for my own disabilities, fuck you. Like, I do you know who Ricky Berwick is?
Mm-mm.
No, Ricky Berwick.
Yeah.
Wait,
No.
yeah or no?
Like maybe. No,
No. Okay.
I do not.
He's a guy who's pretty popular on Twitter. That is like, I don't know what he has, but definitely some physical conditions
Ah.
that leave him very, very misshapen and
Mm-hmm.
unable to walk or even move properly in some respects. But what did he do? He turned it into a career. He literally has videos where he does like he did a PS5 unboxing. He couldn't open it. It was fucking hilarious.
Wow.
He's just
Yeah, I'm
flailing his
thinking.
arms around trying to fucking open it. And he's super self-aware, super fucking funny. And then he
Mm-hmm.
makes fun of other people, and then when they call him, like, there's literally people that have called him ableist. He can barely do anything, and they called him ableist because he was like making
Mm-hmm.
fun of another crippled guy or something.
All right.
Or if some other person shows up and they're like, "Oh, I can't do this," he's like, "Fuck you, you can do it." Like he was like he talks like that too. He'll be like, "Fuck you," man. He sticks his tongue out, looks all crazy, and he's like, he'll call people names and make fun of them, and he'd be super offensive all the time, and he doesn't give a shit. And then like if and he even makes fun of the fact that he's like disabled, so he'll be like, "Oh, you're hurting with disabled person." Like if you try to make him like feel bad for
Yeah.
something you said. It's so good. There's another guy like that called Donovan who I think he can't move. I think he can't move from the neck down, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And but he's like, and he'll say shit like, "I can't do much, but I can burn you. I can roast you. Like I can fucking make you feel bad about yourself." Like, and it's great. I love that shit, man. And so I think your question was about gender. So the reason I brought all that up is that I think For me, I only look at the pragmatic. How do I put this? Like the evolution. I guess if you want to get into a little evolutionary psychology, but
Yeah.
the evolutionary reasons for certain things existing, and
Hmm.
I like those gendered. I don't like. How do I explain it? I appreciate the reality of certain components that are tied intrinsically to our biology. Uh,
Ah.
so, in other words, because they evolved through evolution, then that means they have some practical purpose they serve. I'm not saying they should necessarily be enforced in any way, but there is a reality to them that cannot be
Hmm.
denied, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So, if you, I'm trying to think of a simple example. Uh, like, I don't believe that you need to force women to be in STEM. That's stupid. I think that you should just let them want to be if they do, but I generally believe it won't happen usually, and that's organically. I don't think you have to create special programs to make them want it more and things like that. It's just people have certain drives and motivators. People have certain things that they like. There's certain stuff that I do that I don't even understand why I do it, but because I'm a man. Like, I
Yeah.
don't even fully comprehend why I want something. Like, why do I want to be like I like to work out sometimes. So why do I want to be all buff and masculine when I don't even fucking really give a shit that much about this like persona or being seen that way? Why does it
Hmm.
feel good to get muscle?
Feels
Why does
fucking
it
good.
Yeah, why does it feel good
It feels
to want
good.
to
Like,
get
I want to be fucking
big?
shit.
Yeah, like why do I want to be fucking big? Like I want to be not like crazy
Yeah.
big, but I want to get big. And I
Yeah.
like the idea of like grabbing, I like the idea of pinning down my wife and railing her. Like, and she loves it obviously as well. But what I'm saying is I like this idea of being able to just lift her and like no
Hmm.
problem and shit like that. Like I want to get big for that reason. Why? It's such a masculine thing, but I don't really fully understand why. And maybe it's something that's just built into me to want to get fucking strive like that to just get big and whatever. And like there, I think there's certain things that just tie in sometimes, and there are exceptions to every rule. But I think that there is some stuff that just ties in. And it was because I find hilarious is a lot of the people that like constantly combat this idea of like everything being socially constructed is that like if you look at their individual personal lives, you end up seeing evidence to the contrary, which is fucking funny to me.
Hmm.
Like that their
Yeah.
politics and their ideology don't fall in line with their actual needs.
Match. Yeah.
Like there'll be like these, what is it? Like these, ladies that are constantly talking about, or even men, toxic femininity or masculinity or whatever, and
Hmm.
then they're fucking married to like a Chad
Yeah.
that's like probably like calling them a slut and pulling their hair in bed. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just hilarious to me. So it's like a
No. Yeah.
denial of reality. Like we like certain things. Oh well, deal with it. And I think it doesn't have to dictate the way our society exists, but
No.
but at the same time, you can't
Acknowledging that they
deny those
exist.
prospects, huh?
I was saying, yeah, acknowledging that they exist as.
Yeah, there's the
I mean, they
fundamental
exist. They
aspects
don't
that are
have to
like,
be alignment.
yeah, like that's why the whole and what are they? What I'm enjoying right now is seeing the war between the turfs and the non-turfs or whatever, the inclusionary and exclusionary, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Yeah.
Like I'm having a blast watching that shit. Shit's so funny to me because I'm just like, dude, like what I hate is that you people need to just come to a consensus here. Like everyone has to have like the super fucking like my way or the highway sort of attitude when it comes to
Hmm.
things like gender and race. And it's like, okay, can we just come to some kind of consensus here, like where we can kind of make room for one another in a way that kind of makes everyone somewhat happy? Like, why do you have to get everything you want? So,
Yeah.
so it's confusing to me that, like, okay, so you want the sports situation, right? The whole trans women in sports and stuff. Okay,
Hmm.
so that's like the big hot topic right now in a lot of circles. And to me, it's just funny because it's like, okay, so I get why conceptually you want that to occur. I understand what that represents emotionally, and I understand what you're trying to do politically as well, like a movement or something, in order to be inclusionary and things of that nature. I get what is being attempted there. I guess you would say on the left,
Hmm.
but I also understand that there are biological differences between
There
men and
are.
women when it comes to muscle
Yep.
mass and fat tissue and literally those things. Okay, those things exist, those things are real. We cannot deny reality, but it seems like they want to. But at the same time, you can't be an asshole about it. Like you can't just go around telling people GTFO, you fucking this or that, you know? Like
Hmm.
and then just go around, putting return to tradition memes and shit like that. Like
Oh.
like you know what I'm saying? Like it gets
Yeah.
to cuz I don't want that either. I don't want to return to tradition, but I also don't want complete batshit crazy denial.
Hmm.
So I feel like there has to be some kind of consensus when it comes to this gender question, to
Yeah.
where there has to be a mutual respect and understanding. And I think the way it started working, but then they took it too far, was when started becoming more acceptable to differentiate between sex and gender, like a few years ago.
Yeah.
A few
Yeah.
years ago there
And
was a
back
differentiation
the fuck
there that
off of
would
that.
be like, yeah, it was like, oh well, gender and sex is different because gender is, the way you present yourself and the way you, this and that and blah blah blah, and then sex is your biological, in that argument I was like, okay, you know what, I get it, as long as we acknowledge physical realities, and
Hmm.
we're just being polite and civil, and there shouldn't be any kind of fucking law-based enforcement of it. Like, I'm not a big fan of stuff like hate speech and shit like that. Just not a big fan of concepts like that. There's certain issues with it. Like I said, consensus. There's a way to fucking work stuff out. And yeah, when it comes to that, yeah, I feel this the same way. Like, we have to acknowledge the realities of situations. So maybe, and I might get shit for this, but I'm saying maybe sports and events regarding physical prowess might not be the target you're looking for when it comes to like this activism. Like,
Hmm.
let's take this in a direction that would probably be more realistic. Or if you want to feel included, why don't we have a trans division? I don't know. You can have
Hmm.
a trans division with trans women competing against one another. Fine, because of those physical realities. But and then it just becomes crazy. It becomes really really difficult. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, and it's frustrating because like you don't want to be a shit on somebody's parade, but at the same time you sometimes have to. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
how you feel about it.
Um. Yeah. I'm not really sure like where exactly I fall about it because like I don't care. But I don't want to
Yeah.
say like I don't care.
Oh, you're a fucking, what do they call it? You're a, yeah, because there's a word, you have to learn all these phrases because then people call you things, and so you have to know. There's a true scum.
Okay.
There you go. You
Oh
fucking
shit.
true
Yeah. No.
scum. You believe it? Like, oh, because you acknowledged. Ooh, earlier you acknowledged biological realities. That makes you true scum.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Did you know that?
I'm aware.
Yeah, you're aware that you're true scum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh oh. Pretty soon they'll call you a turf. Like, it's just
Fucking shit.
it's like you can't.
Yeah.
There's no way around shit. Like, you can't have a
Hmm.
conversation, and I think that's very very important. You should be able to have a conversation. And as someone that's schizoid, I don't fall for emotional arguments, and I don't fall for shit like I don't give a fuck about. Like, I don't want to base legislation and the way society runs on your lived experience. I don't give a fuck about your lived experience. Just as you shouldn't give a fuck about my lived experience in order to determine how society runs. That's
Hmm.
stupid. That's a fucking what's the word? A anecdote. Anecdote shouldn't dictate the fucking the way a city runs or a country runs. That's insane. Like, it doesn't work that way. And that's how I feel about it, because you have to look at the data, you have to look at the information, you have to look at what you can objectively study and look at. Like, you have to use
Yeah.
some form of scientific method to determine some of these ideas. And I'm not saying, like, at that rigor, but some kind of like not critical analysis. Can't they already took that fucking word? Um, Critical thinking, because
Hmm.
even the word critical has been fucking rearranged. It drives me insane. You got me on my sore spot. Sorry. Like it
No,
starts.
no,
It's like it's just funny because I love conversations. I love talking about gender. I love talking about race. I love talking about those concepts. I just hate where the direction oftentimes that those places go. It's,
hmm
it's aggravating.
yeah, I think more study, more we need to know more. Because like I feel like there are some people who transition like super fucking early, and they're you can't tell the fucking difference between them and a cis whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, you're referring to
I
the
think it just
super hot traps, correct?
correct.
Cool. Okay. You heard it. You heard it on here, boys and girls. They acknowledge traps. Anyway, continue.
No, yeah, I definitely got into some shit over
Oh,
that.
you will for
I have
sure.
like
You know what's funny is I'll say it right now. I am a bisexual male that is, and my wife is fully aware that I am very very fond of traps.
Mhm.
Anyway, so just wanted to throw that out there. Very very fond. Well, what do they call us? Chasers or some shit like that. Jesus Christ. But I'm bisexual, so I like dick too. So does that still make me a chaser? I don't even understand. So if I like dudes
I mean, I
and
guess it's like
if I like trans women and dudes, but then if I say I like
uh
trans women, then I'm not acknowledging them as women because then I'm saying they're different. But what if I like
but
the
there's
dicks on the trans
there's a
women? So what if like
yeah,
that's what like I'm like yeah look at that cool dick on that trans woman, and then I'm like yeah and her body's hot and she's got a good dick, and then I'm just like wait a minute, but you called it a dick, and I'm like, but it's a dick and it's hot, and then it's like, no, but you can't call it that. That's a clit or something. I don't know what you would say, and I'd be like, okay, whatever. It's just it's good. It's a big clit. Like I don't like I don't understand what I'm supposed to be calling this thing. Like I just know that cock's cool, and so is puss, and so are titties, and so is nice ass, and so is all those things are good, and there you go. Like that's how I function. I don't know.
hmm
It just fucking makes me laugh, man. Like that's why it's so confusing to me. Like I don't even know what to say to people when I talk about this stuff.
yeah. I mean, it really just depends from person to person, and so
Oh no, preferences don't exist. You can't do preferences. Like that's what I hate, man. Like your dick or puss, your clit and your dick don't decide what it likes. Like they like what
yeah.
it likes, man. Like like that's and you can't even argue that. That's why all that stuff about people talking about the gender stuff when it comes to like what is it? It's transphobic not to suck dick. Like that's so confusing to me. Like I thought it was a joke. I thought people were being satirical or they were just like misrepresenting the people like some trans activist views. I thought it was a misrepresentation. I thought oh they're just being satirical or trolling, right? When I saw stuff like that, or there must be fake accounts. And then and that was like months ago. And then now I see shit like where they're saying stuff like that, like literally saying that, like bigger names saying stuff about that, and I'm like,
No.
wait, this is real? Like I thought you guys were trolling with that shit. Now you're telling people they gotta suck dick? Huh?
I thought you said that.
Huh? No, but it's
Yeah.
true.
No.
Like what?
I love
Like
that man.
this transphobic
Yeah.
not to want to put dick in your mouth? Huh? Cause it's a lady dick? What? Like guys will. Even if we're talking like a cis man, right? Let's just talk real quick. A
hmm
cis male.
hmm
Okay, they're probably not gonna want dick, but but let's go beyond that. They're gonna have personal preferences to way pussy looks.
Yeah.
Like so, okay, all pussy's not the same, dude. Like, some people like big lips, some people like small lips, some people like hairy, some people don't. Some people like both, some people don't care. So, yeah. So if there's gonna be preferences in regards to pussy shape and design, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have preferences in regards to dick or not dick.
Yeah.
So I mean, butts. You want a big butt? You want a small butt? Is it exclusionary to not want to fuck somebody with a tiny butt? Like, is it exclusionary to not want to fuck somebody with an ugly ass face? Or maybe you think they're not ugly. Is it now exclusionary to not be attracted to ugly people? I don't understand. What is an ugly
Yeah.
person? Now we're gonna have a fucking activist, ugly activists, pushing
Shit.
for ugly inclusion. But guess what? No one's gonna listen to them. Know why? Because they're ugly. So, and that's built in. Sorry, folks. That shit's hard. I get it. But a lot of charisma comes down to whether people find you, uh, uh, you know, not physically attractive, but nice to look at. And
Yeah.
if you're not nice to look at, guess what? Work on it. Work on it. You don't have to be the most fucking attractive person on earth. Just work on it. That's what I hate when people are like on the internet going, "Oh, I'm so ugly and so exclusive." It's like, bitch, you're fucking like not taking care of your skin. Your hair's a mess. You're fucking not taking care of your health. You eat like shit, and you're worried about people. That's not why people think you're ugly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I don't know.
Um.
I'm going off on rants here. Sorry.
No,
I don't. You hit the right button there.
I see that.
No,
Yeah.
I get
Wow.
real agitated about that's the kind of stuff that actually gets me angry, like literally angry when people try to shape my reality for me. They try to tell me what I fucking how I should perceive my individual reality. It's like fuck you.
Mhm.
Do you feel similar at all? Like, am I just crazy and then you're just gonna tell everyone
No,
you
no,
disavow me on your channel? Because that's fine if you want to disavow me. I don't care.
no. I agree. I don't know like to what extent I agree. Uh, like as a person that like I am perceived a certain way, and like that's a thing that does like not entirely get on my nerves. But it's part of the reason why I decided not to have my face showing for this video. Because I mean you saw it on my video about anal, like no one listens what the fuck I'm saying
Like
because
just
they see
saying,
my face.
I wanna put things in her butt.
Yeah, it's so goddamn annoying when I'm like I'm trying to actually say some shit and you're like you're not even hearing me at
Hey man,
all.
to be fair, you do have a video where you're showing off titty and ass and dancing around.
I mean, yeah, of course.
To
And like
be
it was really
fair,
fucking weird because like I wanted it to be funny and no one thought it was funny.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I that's what I was going for, and
I
everyone was like,
mean,
"This is great, awesome." I mean, I
the,
appreciate the compliments, but like I was trying to be fucking
no,
funny.
look. There's
That
no
worked.
denying people have certain physical attributes that are positive and non positive, whatever. But yes, it was funny. I showed it to a
Thank you.
friend, and the friend thought it was both hilarious and he wanted to put it inside you. So it was
All
a
right.
combination of both. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So because they are a cis male.
Mhm.
So but in any case, no, they didn't. Well, oh, but by the way, just to not cause confusion, it's not any of my closest male friends, so that anybody listening out there might get in
Yeah.
trouble. It's not those people. It's some other person. Trust me. But in any case, yeah. So but anybody I did show it to, like I did also show it to my best female friend. I showed it also to my best male friend. They both thought it was hilarious. They were fucking
Good.
laughing their ass off because they were just like, "This is fucking crazy. What the fuck is going on?" And did you edit it yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, really good job on the editing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I was paying attention to the most, is the editing. It was great. It was all moving. All the parts were moving. Very good
Yeah.
to the beats and the music, and
Uh-huh.
with the mask and everything, it was just so fucking funny. And I'm actually very fond of plague doctors.
Yeah.
So
So am I. That's what I was.
I'm all
Oh,
about the
oh
plague
no.
doctors, dude. I'm all about masks. I love physical, not actual. I've done enough masking for my life, but actual masks are awesome. I
Mhm.
love masks. They're so comfortable. That's one of my top tier favorites. I have one myself, which is funny.
Like a play Doctor Mask.
Like a plague doctor mask, yeah. I want to
Yeah.
collect more of
Okay.
them. I like them quite a bit. I like the big coats. I like the big
Mhm.
baggy. I like the big baggy coats and the mask and everything. It's all good shit. It's all good shit. Anyway, all right. I think this has gone on long enough. Do you have any final comments you'd like to make, or any final comments, or also plug your shit?
I have? My own fucking channel. I mean, I already mentioned my
Well,
channel.
yeah, you know what? It makes sense. Never mind. You don't have to plug your shit because you already kind of did at the beginning, and I'm gonna put the first half on my video, so I gotta plug my shit. All right,
Yeah, go
because
for
I'll
it.
give you the second half so you can put it there, so that way they can transition back and
Hmm.
forth. Okay, so I am Schizoid Angst. Um, I do videos or whatever you want to call them, upload conversations as well as just me meandering around my thoughts about certain subjects. Um, and I do so for the purposes of other people like myself maybe relating to it and enjoying it in some aspect, and me getting some dopamine hits when I read the comments and they relate to me. So I am doing this for the dopamine.
Hey,
Don't get
hey.
don't get me wrong. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for the dopamine. Give it to me. But yeah. In any case, that's the channel. Check it out. I also have a Discord. It's in the About Me section. Join it up if you want to talk to other fucked up retards like myself. So, anyway, any last comments though in general?
Uh, no, I guess just whoever's listening, whoever's watching, I hope you find in life what you are looking for. Uh,
You don't even give a shit.
yeah, have a fantastic.
You don't give a shit about their lives. What the fuck are you saying?
Listen,
You don't even know what you're saying.
listen, listen.
All right.
I mean, I genuinely hope that good things happen to people. I don't want bad things to happen to people.
Yeah, but you don't want good things either. Yeah, I don't think you give a fuck. But it's okay. Let's just leave it.
Anyway,
Mockery is my source of life. Okay, well, we'll just end it there. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, like to my channel as well as theirs, but you probably already are if you're listening to the second half. So come to my shit. I'm gonna tell my people to do your shit too. All right then.
that worked.